And then with the support from my friends and family and the Air Force introducing me to sports, which really helped me get back into a great mindset and helped me continue living life how I should be living life. Not looking back and being angry and depressed and not dwelling on the past, just looking to what I have to do and deal with now to the future.
And recently, you participated in the Warrior Games in Colorado Springs, Colorado. What events did you compete in, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, what an amazing feeling to compete in the Warrior Games. I competed in volleyball, sit-down volleyball, wheelchair basketball, and I shot air pistol. This is my third time. I was in the first and second year they started off, and to be invited back 3 years later, it's just an amazing feeling to be around those people again, and saw a lot of old friends. Everything's normal. You don't have to worry about anybody judging you or looking at you different or anything, because everybody there is there for competition, and you all become one big family, and it's a really great feeling.
And as we come to the end of our time together today, Sergeant DeAngelo, tell me how you feel about serving this nation as a part of the United States Air Force.
Just serving the nation and being in the military, the United States Air Force, I feel like it's an honor. I'm very glad that I'm able to do what I do every day, and that I was chosen. Anybody can enlist, but it takes a good person to just go through every day and upholding the flag and what it means to serve. And I love it. It's just a great thing.
Sergeant Christopher DeAngelo of the United States Air Force, my thanks again for spending some time with I and my listeners today. May God continue to bless you and your family as you serve in the Air Force. We're so grateful that you are still with us and for your continuing service for this country. We honor you, Sergeant Christopher DeAngelo, as our hero of the week.
Thank you very much, sir.
Serving God and America, this is the Crawford Broadcasting Company.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
Somebody fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real old king, all right. 0 to 60, 7.5. Just a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Drive Radio. I am your host, John Rush, along with Dennis Brewster in studio with me. Good morning, Mr. Brewster.
Good morning, Mr. John.
How we doing?
Good.
Good. A lot going on. Craziness. And those of you watching us on YouTube, I am still working on getting our sound fixed. So I worked on it all week. Emailed the company we use our camera with, trying to figure out what drivers to use, and let's just say the answer they told me, Dennis, is they come from Japan.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, sayonara.
Yeah. Where's the responsibility?
Yeah.
That's frustrating because we see that in the park side of the fence, or sometimes different people we deal with now. You always try to get your side, and the customer thinks, well, you're putting them off.
Right.
And you're trying to do everything you can, but you can't finish that side of it. You have to wait for them.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So same situation. So it happens, as you can see, it happens everywhere. So anyways, I'm still working on it. I'll do what I can to get it fixed, even working on it through the show today. So maybe I can get it fixed in between some of the commercial breaks that we've got. But good show in store for you today. I hope you listen and enjoy it. Call us. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Topics for today. I put it up on YouTube yesterday. Winter weather driving tips. We'll give you some, but we really want you to give us and the listeners some.
There you go.
Matt's raised his hand, so I've already got one. Ding, ding, ding. I've already got one guy willing to give a tip. So, Matt, what is it? Let's get the thing started.
Kitty litter.
Kitty
Kitty litter. Kitty litter. If you get stuck in snow and your tires aren't the best in the world, it is good to have a bag of kitty litter because of the fact it causes traction, and I always keep a bag of kitty litter in my car.
Okay, so there's our first tip of the day. Keep some kitty litter in the car, some sand, some salt, whatever. I mean, there's all sorts of things you could keep in the car to do that. Give us some other winter weather driving tips. It doesn't have to just be stuff that, where you think you may be getting stuck and things like that. Give us some other tips. How do you drive in the snow? How do you do, you name it. So give us some tips. I'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. We're also going to talk about alignments, which is a big deal we don't talk near enough about. I had a request for that. So we'll talk about alignments, kind of the ins and outs of them, how often should you do it, etc. Second of all, nitrogen in tires. Is that worth spending money on? So we're gonna talk about that. We'll get into that. Battery draws, that's another one that I may get into. A proper way to warm up a vehicle. That was a request from a listener this past week, and he also said, what are the do's and don'ts for e-brake? So we may not be able to get to all of those, but we'll do our best to get to as many as we can today. But most of all, we're here to answer questions, talk to you, whatever you've got. 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. I will talk briefly about an event I went to Thursday. Toyota is launching the 2015 Camrys, Yaris's, and Sienna vans. So they had an event down at Coors Field Thursday where you had an opportunity to drive each one of those vehicles, look at the new Camry. It's interesting that vehicle is only in its second year cycle since it was actually redone the last time, and they've gone through and redone the entire thing all over again. Camry, and I didn't realize this. Let me get my notes out, Dennis. This is going to surprise even you. Let me get to this real quick. Camry is the most popular car running for 12 years straight. They have built 10.2 million. They built 415,000 last year. They're 1 million in their current generation. And if Camry were its own manufacturer, in other words, if it was just the Camry Motor Company, it would be in the top 10 of car manufacturers because of the numbers it's produced.
Wow.
Which I had no idea. I mean, I knew they produced a lot of them, but I had no idea it would be in the top 10. So Camry could be its own manufacturer in the top 10 of car makers today because of how many they built. It's all American made.
Yeah, I know that.
100% American made. And this particular model year, there is 2,000 new parts and 1,900 change points. The only thing that stayed the same was the roof panel.
Wow.
Everything else has been completely redone body-wise. Now, platform is roughly the same. It is a little bit wider, has a wider stance. They stiffened up the suspension, stiffened up the body, made it quieter, first-in-class wireless charging, lane departure, adaptive cruise control, all new soft touch interior, new audio system. And by the way, and I didn't realize this either, Dennis, the median age for Camry is 45 years of age.
That's strange.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious where most of those were bought or purchased. Remember how Boulder used to be the Subaru?
Mm-hmm.
That was like the number one place that people were. I'm curious where Camry is because
I should have asked that.
I don't see a lot of them driving around. I mean, not more than...
the thing about Camry that's interesting, there is, if you look, it's one of those cars that just doesn't stand out. I mean, it's just I'm sorry, Toyota, but for years it's been a plain Jane staple car, solidly built, and you just don't notice them because it's not one of those cars that when it drives by you say, oh, they're in a Camry. It's just not that type of a car.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not a great car. They've sold 10.2 million of them.
Did you ever notice when you buy a certain car?
You see more of them?
Yeah. Yeah,
and you're always looking at it. I'm the same way when I'm driving a press car for a week. It's like, oh, there's a lot more of these on the road than I thought there was.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You just notice more of them. Anyways, we got a call Don in Littleton. He's got a question on his dad's car. What's going on, Don?
Hey, hi, John. Hi, Dennis.
Good morning.
Morning. Nice to talk with you.
Nice talking to you, too.
My dad has decided to stop driving, and
Okay.
he just sell his, speaking of Camry, his 2003 Camry.
Okay.
I just wondered if Isaac Bouchard could help with that.
Yes, he could. In fact, that'd be the first phone call, Don, that I would make would be to Isaac and let him know what you have. I mean, because here's the thing that Isaac has an advantage of. For you guys listening, Isaac's our local broker, does everything for us literally. His number is 303-475-1462. And the thing, Don, that Isaac gets, of course, is he's got hundreds of customers, and so they're all at times asking, "Hey, Isaac, if you get in such and such car, I'm a buyer." So yeah, he would be the first place I would call just to see if he's got anybody that he knows that's looking for it.
Okay, I can do that. And what's the best way to determine the value of this car? It's a 2003 with 75,000.
He'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll tell you what they're bringing. He'll tell you what they're doing at auction.
Okay.
He'll tell you if they're doing better than auction prices, not as good as auction prices. And a lot of it, Don, and he'll have to look at the car, because if it's really a cream puff, everything else kind of goes out the window and you set your own price.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't suppose this is a cream puff. My dad was kind of the president of the If It Ain't Broke, Don't Fix It club.
I got it.
Yeah, but 75,000 miles.
Camry. So
Yeah, and it's a Camry.
We were
There's
just-
not a lot wrong with them.
just what I was just talking about, Don. That's been a very
Staple car.
it's been a very stable and staple car for Toyota. They have made they've made that car a solid part of their lineup for a very long time, and you see a lot of them on the road.
And there's,
Yeah.
there's usually not a lot wrong with them when they come in.
They work really well.
Yeah, no, this one, everything runs well. He just never did much maintenance to it. So
But that's that might not show up if the car only has 70,000 miles.
Exactly.
fair enough. Take a call.
No, give him a call and tell Isaac that you listen to us on a regular basis. I just saw him Thursday. He was actually him and I actually took a couple rides together on Thursday. So yeah, he'll know exactly what's going on. Give him a jingle.
All right. Hey, always a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Don, thank you so much for listening and all your support. And you made any more progress on your Jeep the last week or so?
Pardon me?
Have you made any more progress on your little Jeep?
Well, not since this deal with my dad, so that's
Okay.
kind of taken up the week. But
Yeah. And my heart goes out to you guys. That's always a tough thing to have happen in the family because they feel like some of their independence is
oh
leaving.
yeah, it was real tough on him, and
Yeah.
it was hard for him to let go. But
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing the right thing, though, and you know when it's time, and good for you guys in doing that.
yeah, well, thank you, John.
You betcha, Don. You guys take care. Let me know if you guys need anything else. Appreciate it. Again, call Isaac. Those of you listening, Isaac Bouchard, he's our preferred broker. So give him a call, 303-475-1462. He can help you literally with anything. The conversation we just had, that's what Isaac's there for.
And if you're interested in that Camry, you want to call him because
Yeah.
I mean that could be a car to buy up right now.
Yeah, good point, Dennis. I didn't think about that. So yeah, if you're interested in that, call Isaac and he'll get you guys put together and make
Right.
things work out. I'm not going to give Don's number out, but go ahead, call Isaac and they'll make that work.
Because that could be a good car. I mean, those are the kind of cars you look for. The people that are
An 03 Camry with 75K, that's a cream. Whether Don thinks it is or not, that's a cream puff.
Yeah, even a lot of cars that way that only have little mileage because the people bought them and stuff.
That's right.
And that is a tough thing. And my heart does go out to
Yeah,
Don,
it
because
is. It is.
I had to deal with that with my dad trying to get him not to drive, and that was just
Yeah, that's not easy.
no, because it's kind of like taking their last privilege away that they have.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
that
that's-
freedom.
Yeah, that is not an easy thing. So yeah, my heart goes out to you, and we
Yeah.
should probably do a show on that at some point in time and get some experts in and talk about how do you do that. In fact, I'm going to make
With that.
myself a note right now because that would be a great topic. So Scott Watley, if you are listening, that'd be a great thing for you to actually help me out with and see if you've got somebody in your network that can help us advise on basically senior driving and when do you know it's time to start pulling the keys from mom and dad and or a senior in your life when you know it's just not safe for them to drive anymore.
I did that with my dad. He shouldn't have been driving, and I had the doctor write me a letter saying that he shouldn't be driving. He still kept on driving, and I called the police and said, "What do we need to do here?" And he said, "There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do." They said they can't go there and take his car away.
No,
They can't go there.
can't.
And you understand that.
Yeah.
They said something's just going to have to happen. But I went and had his license canceled. I can't remember how that all went down because it was like 4
We
years
need to do a show on this. So I need to go out there that might have some information on that. Again, not to be critical, but to help some of us. Dennis is getting older. I'm getting older. I'm several years away from having to worry about that. I'm sure Larry's raising his hand. He's getting older. So a lot of you out there listening, I'm sure can find yourself in the same situation. I'll make a promise to you that we will do some research and try to find some good answers, and we'll do a show on the future in that, because that'd be a great topic that we should cover. So we'll do that.
It's
So
something that's a necessity.
it is. All right. So winter weather driving tips. Give us some driving tips, whatever it might be. Let us know what it is. We'd love to talk to you. 303-477-5600. And we'll start talking about alignments otherwise.
Yeah, and you know, even if it's something that you do at night to prepare your car to go driving.
Anything.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come up with a bunch, but
Yeah.
we want to hear from you. I just thought this would be a good topic.
Yeah.
Let us know what your tips are. It could be anything.
But look at the weather, John.
I
We don't
know.
need to worry about weather right now.
Well, it's still
Come on.
coming.
Yeah,
It's still coming. This is Colorado. It will still come. I mean,
it has to be the driest in October, I've seen.
it's been just beautiful.
I know.
We've got a little rain coming in Monday, but it's just been gorgeous. The leaves are really in full color right now, and yeah, I know that because I spent most of the morning before I came down here blowing off my patios and all of my stuff from the gazillion of leaves I had.
You know, we went to Branson last week or a week
Pretty.
ago. Yeah, but you know what? It's got more color here right now than it did in Branson.
Really? Is that
Yeah.
because their leaves just haven't changed yet? Or
Yeah, it's just not.
wow,
I'm
surprised.
We
at
came
that.
back to Colorado. And we're like, wow, look at all these trees. How
Wow,
pretty.
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy, guys. Enjoy your day today.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of you out running around doing different things. Football games going on today, but call us 303-477-5600. We are here to answer your questions. Dennis Brewster from Parker. By the way, he is a resident GM and Nissan expert. A lot of you call in wanting to know who our experts are. Dennis is our resident Nissan expert, so call us. We'll get you right on there. When we come back, we are going to talk about alignment. So give us your winter weather driving tips, not trips, tips. We'll talk about alignments. When we come back, you're on Drive Radio. Your host, John Rush, along with Dennis Brewster, KLZ 560.
Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. And this month, we're making it easy for you to show your support too. Make any $25 purchase, and you'll receive a free Napa Camo Racing Cap. For every cap we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa stores while supplies last, offering
Auto repair solution in northern Colorado at Fort Collins 4x4 Center. They service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Or are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
And we are back. Thanks for listening to us each and every Saturday. We do appreciate it. And yes, it's a very beautiful Saturday morning in Colorado. Not a cloud in the sky as we look out high atop the KLZ towers. It is absolutely a gorgeous day. There's not even any pollution in the sky.
Isn't that beautiful?
Speaking of which,
I don't have pollution.
we just don't have it like we used to anyways. The car, and by the way, this isn't because of Air Care Colorado. It's just because of how new cars are now made that, a lot of that's been cleaned up. And that's a side note. I had somebody email me the other day and say, if we have a change in the governorship, et cetera, do you think emissions testing and some of that stuff will change? And I said, you know what? Possible.
Yeah, who knows?
Possible. Mr. Beaupre has said that he thinks it's a big waste of time and energy and money for our taxpayers to go through that, and I would tend to agree with him. So, given that, you never know. So, you know what, folks? That's just a reminder: be careful who you vote for.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest with you, most of those cars are gone. If you couldn't get them, the early '85s that we were having,
they're not around anyway.
'85s, no, they didn't last. The engines didn't last.
That's right, they're not here.
No,
that program needs to go away.
I mean, when was the last time I saw an '85 car? It's been a while.
In my opinion of it is, and we start a whole other topic here on the air, which I didn't intend to do, but it just reminded me as I look out and I see the crystal clear blue sky, and I'm looking out and there's no haze, and it's just beautiful, and I'm thinking, why do we have Air Care Colorado?
Yeah.
That's just a big money-making machine, folks. Sorry, that's all. Everybody in the studio is shaking their head yes, because they all agree. We're in the car industry, the automotive industry. We know it. Nothing against Air Care Colorado, but guys, sorry, we don't need you.
And
you can back up and leave for all I care.
Honestly, some of these cars you can leave them running in your stall with the door shut, and it almost cleans up the air.
Well, side note, how often anymore? In the old days, you had to have an exhaust system in the shop where you couldn't breathe inside the shop when you pulled cars in and out. Anymore, you rarely even get a hose out because it's just not, unless the car is going to be idling for a really long time, it's just not a big deal anymore.
You're doing some kind of chemical clean in it. Yeah.
I remember as a kid, going home from the shop and having severe headaches from the carbon monoxide in the wintertime, et cetera, because you're sucking that in all day long. Even back then when we had exhaust systems, et cetera, and in today's world.
And you remember the air exchangers we had to change out the air so often.
Yeah. And it's, the need for that today just isn't what it used to be. So, folks, it has gotten much better. That's a side note. But if any of you agree with me, hey, feel free to call in 303-477-56. Yeah, or if you disagree, if you think Air Care Colorado should hang around, you love going in and getting your e-test done every other year, or you love driving through the things on the side of the road, you love paying that extra money. If you're one of those guys that love it, hey, let me know. But if you're a guy that hates it, I'd like to know that also. Yeah. We'll tape this thing and send it on in.
Yeah.
Let your voice be heard. 303-477-5600. And I say that, kind of lighthearted, but it's true. I mean, all of that stuff is a tax on you and your family. Sorry, folks, you call it whatever you want to, but it's a tax.
Yeah.
It's an environmental tax. That's what they're doing with it. Matt wants to chime in.
Just another way for the good old government to get $1 out of you, to be really honest with you.
That's all it is. Matt's right. It's just, and at one time, was it necessary? Yes. It probably was at one point in time. But it like any other government program, it has fulfilled its purpose. It's done. It needs to get wrapped up, washed out, handled.
Years ago.
That company could sell off its facilities to some repair shops or whoever they want to sell them off to, scrape them, do whatever they want to, call it quits. The problem is, Dennis, they've invested a ton of money here on the Weld County, end of things here within the last 4 or 5 years, and they're not going to do that because they've put a huge amount of money into those facilities they just put in.
Yeah.
You know what my feeling on it is? I don't care. Tough noogies. Yeah. Anyway, side note, love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on that or anything else? 303-477-5600.
Alignments.
Okay, let's get into it. Speaking of alignments, Quick Tread, Ken and Mike, those guys over there, I'd love to hear them chime in on this at some point in time as far as the tire end of it goes, because I'll tell you right now that they'll be on our side when we start talking about tires. You can go by any one of our Colorado Select facilities or call Quick Tread directly, 720-588-9055. Quick Tread. They supply the majority of us in our Colorado Select group with tires. Great guys that'll help you out, and they can do it right where you're at. But let's talk about alignments. Why should you even do it?
Tire wear. You want your tires. Tires are a big investment, and you want to make sure that they wear properly, and also the handling of the car. When you're talking about driving tips, if your tires are properly inflated and you have proper wear on your tires, you're going to be so much better in that wind, in the snow, and treading out the water and so many other things with that. I mean, when you're turning, you won't lose control. If an alignment is not set up right, You're going to have fishtailing in the back a little bit more. You can have, your car's going to be pushing uphill or pushing downhill.
Yeah, no, it's and
There's
Dennis,
so many things.
Dennis is right on that, and it's one of those things that tends to go unnoticed. A lot of guys will put a set of tires on; they look like they're wearing pretty evenly. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll throw in, we'll just throw tires on and not worry about alignment and go. The reality is that the components on that vehicle, on all four wheels. Now, if you got a straight axle in the rear, that's a little different. But on most independent suspensions that are on all four corners, which a lot of vehicles now are, you're going to get wear at every corner. Yeah. So having the vehicle aligned helps you with fuel economy, additional parts wear, tires, etc. And I'm one that says, really, you ought to align your car at least once a year.
That's
just be part of your annual checkup. You will gain enough back in fuel economy and parts wear to justify the $60 to $80 you'll spend on alignment.
Well, here's the other thing, John. If we don't align our cars every once in a while, we don't get a really good check on the car.
That's true.
Because, our guys go through these cars when we do check them out, But if you're not getting your car in and servicing and you're do-it-yourselfer, the one thing you can't do is an alignment. That's pull it in, we put it up on the rack, we're checking ball joints, we're checking tie rod ends, we're checking suspension pieces that wear.
That's right.
And I don't know how many times we put a car up in the air and you see that the sway bar bushings are shot.
And to Dennis's point, you cannot, because I've done alignments for years. I used to do them when we didn't even have the high-tech equipment we've got today, and you used a gauge and a bubble. Yeah. The reality is, even those of you that have some of that at home in the garage and think you can do an alignment that way, the new laser-guided systems are so much more accurate than what we used to use that you really need to use the new equipment to do it correctly. Right, Dennis?
Yep.
I mean, it's just that well. It just works that well. That's how I wanted to say that. Robert and Erie, let's go to you. What's going on, Robert?
I agree with you on the exhaust on the cars, that they need to bring back the safety inspection.
Well, and you know what? And that would be something that they could easily convert from. And if I was a legislator, I would propose this. It wouldn't take much to convert our existing system from an emissions program to a safety inspection program. The fees would be the same. There'd be no additional out-of-pocket expense from an individual. You could still do it on an every other year basis with the modern cars that we've got. It would not be that difficult to do.
And you can have them do it, and that way it doesn't look like the shop's selling everything on the car.
Exactly right. So and all the facilities exist to do that. It would not be a big deal to do.
You know yourself, if the government doesn't have a stipulation on something, people that drive with tires bald,
right?
No headlights and all this. You can go down the highway and see a couple of cars don't even have a headlight in it.
That's right.
On the road.
I see them all the time. No, and just so everybody understands, I am not a guy that wants more government intrusion. That's not who I am. I would say we need less government, but I also realize that driving is a privilege. It's not a constitutional right. Driving is a privilege. Driving is something that we all need to participate in being safe so that we can keep everybody else that's on the road safe. So therein, should we have safety inspections? I'm a big proponent of it because I see so many cars running around that aren't inspected. They're not safe to drive. And Robert, an additional thing I'll add to that is they cost other people time and money in the fact that when there's a car that's on the side of the road that's dead, because of some problem it had mechanically speaking, which I see all the time now driving to and from the station daily, everybody that's backed up because of that one car on the side of the road is costing every one of those drivers money.
Or the accident that they have.
That's right.
Because the ball joint was bad and they didn't get to check the brakes and they go slamming into someone else. Now that family could have consequences from that. Everybody does. Cause and effect.
I'm not a big brother kind of a guy. Anybody that listens to me should know that. I'm not that. But do I think driving should be a privilege? Yes, I do.
And these are big machines.
That's right.
They're dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Robert, thanks so much for your phone call and your input. And by the way, if you want to chime in on that, we'd love to hear from you. This ends up always being a hot topic. Should we continue on with our emissions program or convert that into a safety inspection? And you know what? You may be for the emissions program and against the safety inspections. Whatever it is, let us know. Tell us we're wrong. I'd love to hear from you. Mike, you're up next. What's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
I love your show.
Thank you.
I don't get to listen to you every Saturday. I'm usually at work, and I catch you on podcasts.
Thank you.
I'm off this morning, so I figured I'd chime
right in. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Air Care of Colorado. I hate that place with a passion.
Yeah, you and me both.
The first vehicle I took in there was a 78 GMC pickup I had.
Wow.
350 V8.
Yep.
4-speed.
Yep.
The gal didn't know how to drive a clutch.
Right.
Puts it in granny low.
Oh, man.
Revs the engine and sidesteps the clutch. Broke both motor mounts and the transmission mount for me.
Oh,
Did
my
they pay
word.
for the damage? No.
Really?
Really.
What was their excuse?
It was probably already broken.
The truck wasn't pretty, so therefore it must have been broke.
Oh, my Lord.
The next vehicle that you'll get a kick out of this. One of my classics is a 1969 Chevy station wagon.
Okay.
So I got the thing down there for its initial. I bought it out of state. Had to have an initial emissions check on it.
Right.
So I went down there. And again, some young kid who'd probably never seen one of these before in her life starts doing her initial check on it. Reaches down, starts opening and closing the side vent. And I watched her do it about a dozen times. I said, well, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to open the hood.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, you have to go back outside to do that, lady.
Yeah.
Kid or whoever he is.
Let me get that for you.
Yeah. Now, as a side note, real quick, Mike, you could have put plastic plates on that and not done an E-test at all.
Well, when I first brought it in, that's what I was told I had to do. So instead of arguing with anybody,
yeah, you didn't have
25 bucks
didn't have to.
compared to the argument.
Yeah, you didn't have to. They were wrong in their telling.
That's
that.
the problem with their cars. No one knows the right answers.
The right answer, you could have done plastic plates with no E-test.
Okay, then it gets better. Earlier this year, I put an engine in my 94 GMC, and I had the exhaust reworked. And when I did that, I also included the 402 sensor bump, so I could convert it over to the OBD2 fuel injection because I used a Vortec engine.
Got it.
And put the TBI back on it just initially.
Got it.
Okay, well, this guy is looking all over this truck. He's got a mirror. He's got flashlights. He's under the hood. He's under the truck. He's under the hood. He's around this side. He's around that side. The guy's looking under the hood of the truck. I'm watching him do this. He must be at it for a good 10 minutes because there's nobody in line behind me. And I go, what are you looking for? What are you trying to find? So he mumbles something in such a heavy accent I can't understand him. I later figure out that, oh, you're going to fail because there's no O2 sensor. So I get all the way to the end of the line. And, well, you failed because you don't have an O2 sensor. I was not quite politically correct. I said, yeah, there is. Took the flashlight out of my pocket because I always have one in my pocket in the aircraft mechanic trade. Got to have one of those. It's part of the job.
Yep.
So I slide under the truck. And, of course, the guy that's standing there is just he couldn't believe I just slid under my truck before he could get a breath out. And had my flashlight shining on the O2 sensor in under 10 seconds. And you got to get over your truck. You got to get under your truck. You can't be under your truck. Are you kidding me? I just spent several days under this truck. How can I not be under my truck?
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't even find the bloody O2 sensor. I had to show them where it was.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
No.
Yeah, it's just
the problem is they're going off of a set of books and manuals, and if anything gets out of the norm that those guys are used to doing, they just don't know how. And again, I go back to my original comment. It just needs to go away. It's an unnecessary thing anymore. We don't need it.
Away because 90% of people work there don't know a thing about cars other than it's got tires, steering wheel, and an ignition switch.
Yep. No, you're right about that. And the fact of the matter is we just don't need it because you can look out the window right now and look at how beautiful things are, and that's not because of Air Care Colorado that looks that way.
No,
right.
I moved here in the mid-'80s with my job.
Lots of brown cloud then.
Oh, there was. And I noticed that the brown cloud, the gravel on the roads, and cars were all the same color.
Yep.
I'm not being real smart.
Yep.
It's probably the same particulates that are from the sand and gravel we're putting on the ground.
Yeah, and
we're not using that anymore.
We don't use that anymore. We have it now for probably a good solid 10 years, really heavily the last 5 years. That's why our rust and corrosion has gone up because we're using a pure salt mix now.
Oh, I know. That kills me, but, what do you do?
No. And in defense of the cities and stuff, it has helped clean up the brown cloud, and there's not any sweeping cleanup after they're done. That's partially why they've gone to it. And it's more effective at getting snow melted.
Yeah, it's a whole combination of things that, the improved winter driving safety around here tremendously.
Yep.
As far as the safety program, I am all for it. Thumbs up. I'll vote for it. I'll jump up and down.
Awesome.
I'll be a cheerleader for it, whatever's needed. Because I drive down the road I see tires flat.
Yep.
I see wheels wobbling. I see windshields, cracks of bed, can't see out of the bloody things.
Yep.
You know, that's not even paying attention.
Nope.
And what's frustrating for me is when I'm seeing these and I see a cop next to me and nothing gets
He's
done.
not paying attention.
They don't do it either.
No, he's
they
not
don't
paying
give them tickets anymore. That kind of stuff.
Nope. No, they'd rather pull over those of us on the commercial end of things. That I got pulled over the other day because I'm towing a trailer. My guys were, and they just happened to pull us over to a random, mind you, random safety inspection. And they red flagged the trailer because my battery was dead for the emergency brake side of the fence on the trailer. Rather than letting us come back to the shop, fix it, handle it, I had to send another truck down, get it fixed on the spot. They when they red flag it, that means they won't let the vehicle move anymore. So yeah, they pick on one side of the fence and let everybody else drive off. That's my other pet peeve.
Yeah, we got to take for plates. Because
the only caveat I would like to put in place in your idea of turning Air Care Colorado facilities into safety inspection stations is, one, they have competent employees and they're nonpartisan. They're not selling a bloody thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That was my point.
That'd be the plus.
That would be my point, because that was the problem with the problem
with the original one is people took advantage of it.
Yeah, they were selling ball joints and they didn't need to be sold.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or the pads or the little nylon pads for the leaf springs. If you found one worn, they had to replace it or you can't get placed.
That's right.
Give me a break.
That's right. Hey, Mike, got to run. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much for the comments. We will be back right after this. We'll continue on with our conversations. Give us some winter driving tips or chime in on what you think Air Care Colorado should do, and we'll be back right after this. John Rush, your host, along with Dennis Brewster from Extreme Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear can also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is the presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Wow, is that an angry monkey screaming at you? Nope, it's 2 windshield wipers. They're literally crying out for you to replace them. Lucky for you, Napa now has 30% off select visibility products. That's 30% off wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. So cut all the monkey business and conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 10/31/14.
All right, we're back. Thanks for listening. 303-477-5600. Again, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on here. What do you think about Air Care Colorado? our alignment topic. Give us some snow driving tips. I know it's absolutely gorgeous out today. Nobody wants to think about snow. I get it. I'm the same way. I don't want to think about it either, but the reality is it's coming.
Yep. You know, I got to say, you know, when we were talking about the air, sometimes you think, well, when it's a beautiful day like this, it's because it's a little windy and it's blowing it out. I'm looking out here at that flag.
It's not even blowing.
It's not even blowing. And look at that. You can see the foothills right on the bottom. You can see downtown.
You can see all the way to the divide and see the snow that's on top of there.
I mean, you see, you don't even see a cloud of anything.
No, it is. Our air is so much better today than it used to be. And if anybody's got any arguments on that and you think I'm crazy and we should keep Air Care Colorado around, you know what? Tell me I'm wrong. If you think I'm right, tell me I'm right. And guess what? We'll get some folks to actually listen to this and get some feedback from you all. So that's how radio works. That's the power of radio. If you out there think that folks aren't listening to this, in fact, especially some prominent folks aren't listening to this, let me tell you,
they are.
They are. Yeah. I know. I hear from some of them, so they're listening. We've got even some politicians out there that listen to this show. So if you want your voice to be heard, call us and tell us what you think. And trust me, your voice will be heard. So 303-477-5600, and that got the phones going right there, Dennis. So
here you go.
Here we go.
All right. Let's go back to the alignments.
Go ahead.
You know, when we were talking about it, there's a lot of times that people, the big thing that we find in alignment is worn parts.
Yeah.
You know, and that is why you want to get them checked. I remember having a neighbor that I had out east, and she told me she was having a clunking sound, and I drove her truck in. There's no way I should have drove that truck in by the time I got there. That ball joint
was that bad.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that's safety.
That's the stuff that that's right, and that's the stuff you pick up when you're doing an alignment. Those sorts of things.
And you know what? When you put it all back together and people take their cars and they go, "My gosh, this is driving so much better."
Yeah.
It takes an ease of driving the car.
That's exactly right.
You know?
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones. One line open is all 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Steve in Aurora, what's your comments?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I agree completely with you on the vehicle inspections and the Air Care Colorado. We need to be inspecting vehicles. It scares me to death to think that they would be doing visual inspections on my vehicle, though, if they can't even get the emissions right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would definitely have to go through a different transition of employees and find some folks that, you know, understand what they really need to be inspecting, et cetera. But, you know, I'm here to tell you, it would not be, put me in charge of that program and I'll make it happen. It's not that
There's enough technicians out there right now that they can probably do this with it and get a guy that's almost retired just to do the inspections. They'd have to charge a little bit more.
Or even manage the inspection.
Yeah, they'd have to do a little bit more. Yeah, but
it wouldn't be that hard to do.
They can sit there and do 100 inspection check in about 30 minutes.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, auto vitals.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do the vitals. That's exactly right. Yep.
If you're going to do this, well, how do you prevent it then from becoming what it was, where you rotate a vehicle? I mean, do you throw in a check and balance where, you know, if you find bad ball joints, they have 24 hours to have a second opinion done?
You know, that's a great question. That's where I think what you'd need to do there is you get a panel of some industry leaders, you know, myself included in that, where you sit down and you chat, okay, what would be fair to the public? How do we do this? You know, we don't want to make this, you know, a burden, but we want to keep the roads safe. How would you present all of that? That's the stuff you work through once you make a decision to transition into it, Steve. And granted, we are a long way from that, but, you know, you guys calling in, talking about this, that's what gets things rolling along.
You know, and the way, you know,
question.
Go ahead.
What do you think about competition with the state awarding multiple contracts, even for the Air Care Colorado? If there was a second option,
well,
that claimed to be more competent and give them the flexibility to charge more or less, I would use them and pay more if they were more competent.
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. Right now, there is no competition, as you know, because I'm one that tells you that, or I will tell you that I think there's a lot of insider garbage that has gone on inside of the Air Care Colorado thing. In fact, Air Care Colorado sold about 2 years ago to a big conglomerate that runs these things nationwide. Here's where I'm heading with this and why I kind of brought this up. This particular company that now owns Air Care Colorado does run vehicle safety inspection programs in other states. So it'd be a very easy transition for them to make this happen.
Fair enough.
And you're only checking the safety inspection pieces. You're not checking the engines for...
That's right. You're not looking for engine misses and all that stuff. You're just looking at basic overall, what's the suspension like, what's the steering like, what are tires like, what are lights like, what's the windshield look like, etc.
Brakes. Yeah, ball joints.
I pulled into a car last night in the parking lot to go to dinner with my wife, and the left rear quarter panel is duct taped onto the vehicle, and I'm not exaggerating.
See it all the time.
So in that case, is that vehicle roadworthy? Absolutely not.
I saw a car driving the other day without a fender on it.
That those cars should not be on the road.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
So great stuff, Steve. Appreciate the feedback. Line's open. We're one line open, 303-477-5600. Let's go to Randy in Castle Rock. Randy, what's going on today?
Hey, hello, guys.
Hello.
Speaking of a roadworthy car, have you ever seen that John Candy movie with trains, planes,
Yes,
and all?
Yeah.
You think this car is safe? Well, it's not much to look at, but it gets you where you need to go.
That's right.
That's right.
And the radio works.
That's hilarious.
But anyway, I had a question on my vehicle, my car, and on my Jeep.
Sure.
When I go over the speed bumps in the apartment complex, they're nice and slow as usual. You get that kind of a squeaky sound.
Uh-huh.
Is that something possibly, I might be able to take some 40 and spray the top and bottom of those springs?
I doubt it.
Usually that's in the sway bar bushings.
Typically, yeah.
Is it typically what it is? And what we do is we take those down and we put grease in it.
And put them back.
Heavy grease and put it back together.
You spraying anything into it will last for just a little bit, but it'll be right back as soon as it
In a
gets
week,
wet. That's
yeah.
right.
But so do we think it's a springs or?
No.
No, it's probably a bushing.
It's a sway bar bushing is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And the sway bar is the long bar that goes across and attaches to the
outer control arms. Yep.
And there's two pieces that'll hang up in the frame area, and it's got like a U shape.
Yep.
And you take those bolts down, and the bar will come down. And it's kind of tight to get back up in there.
Grease all that back
But
up.
you take those bushings, they're slit, and you can take them off and put grease in there. And
Put new ones in if they're really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was so much of swaying because we're going up and down.
No, but they move every time the suspension moves.
Yeah, they try to hold those control arms down.
Right. So it's just better stability.
So it's nothing to be alarmed about.
No, I haven't looked at and see if you can get that. I mean, I don't like squeak, so I get it fixed.
Well, if they're squeaking, the bushings could be going bad, right? Too.
Yeah, like I said, it's only over the speed bumps
Right.
naturally when you
Right.
move it.
Yep. Oh, sure,
all right,
question.
Thank you much.
You betcha, Randy. Appreciate it very much. All right, guys, with that, let's take a quick break. One line open is all, 303-477-5600. David in Idaho's got a comment on Air Care Colorado and some driving tips. He's also our technician that gives us some tips that I'll get to here in just a little bit. And then Jerry in Greeley's got a winter driving tip. Call us. I'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. We'll be back with more car tips, car info, car discussion, you name it. That's what we're here for. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, exit. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500, 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Know-how! You've packed your family of 8 in a 5-person car. Packed a week's worth of groceries into one bag. And when your wife says the dishwasher's full, you just laugh. But are you up for the challenge when there's 20% off on the line? Pick up our exclusive 5-gallon Napa Camo bucket for just $2.99. Then get 20% off all the stuff you can fit in it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 11/16/14.
I'm going to teach you right now how to find a good, honest mechanic. Ask about the warranty. Their warranty will tell you everything you need to know because their warranty is their word. And Colorado Select Auto Care Centers all offer the best warranty in the state. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair. Always select a Colorado Select Auto Care Center at coloradoselect.org. 3 years, 36,000 miles. That's all you need to know.
Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Drive Radio. John Rush, your host. KLZ 560. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Jerry is up next. Jerry, what's your winter driving tip?
Well, we're coming up on either a stop sign or a stoplight in ice or something like that, and you find yourself just wanting to slide through the intersection, just put your vehicle in neutral.
Okay.
Take it out of drive, put it in neutral, and you'll find that you'll stop a lot quicker.
Okay. I've never tried that. I'll have to see how that works.
I want you to try that because it really works good. I'm not sure why. Of course, I drive a front-wheel drive minivan. I don't know how this, with anti-lock brakes. So when you're on that ice, the anti-lock brakes, you just go crazy trying to and you just keep sliding on through.
Right.
So put the vehicle in neutral and get that engine and transmission to quit turning the wheels.
It makes sense.
And I guarantee it will stop you faster.
I'll have to give that a whirl. That's a great tip. Thank you, Jerry.
But that's something you want to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to practice
in an empty lot.
Yeah, because you don't want to sit there and do that and get it to reverse.
In fact, some of these driving tips we'll give you on the winter driving portion of the show today. You want to do by yourself, nobody around, empty, big empty parking lot. Go to the mall in the evening after it's closed, something along those lines, and just see what's going on. That way, you can get a better idea for what you need to do.
If you get it all the way into reverse, you're gonna have.
You don't want to do that either.
You're gonna have some problems.
That'd be a big deal. You don't want that.
Yeah.
303-477-5600. We've got a line open. David, up in Idaho, you're next. What's going on, David?
How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for calling us.
Hey, listen, on the Air Care Colorado, I say no. I mean, having been a technician in Colorado, it was a joke. I say yes to an annual inspection, a safety inspection. I was a technician in Pennsylvania for 17 years. I had to have a Pennsylvania State Inspection license. Every technician had to go through the same training administered by the local VOTEC or technical training schools. It was a program administered by the state. The state was hands-off in the individual shops. In other words, the customer took the vehicle to the shop to get it inspected. The state had arbitrators who would come by and they would actually check your records. And if there was any dispute that the customer might have about the vehicle's safety inspection, they could force arbitrate it, kind of like an emissions inspection.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, that system was it just worked. And the customer didn't have to be put out by having to go to another facility. The chance of having a technician that might have been not trained as well as someone who's experienced working on cars day in and day out, the system just worked.
Interesting. Yeah.
As far as winter driving tip, I did the same thing. Empty parking lot when you get your first snowfall, you kind of induce a spin or a skid in the vehicle, and you practice on looking at where you need to go, not where you are going.
Yeah.
And you steer in the direction of the turn.
Yep.
Just keep practicing that, and you'll get your winter driving legs back, so to speak, and you'll be good to go.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll give your tip out here as soon as we come back at the top of the hour, and I appreciate those also, David.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
You betcha, man. Appreciate it very much. David from Idaho, long distance listener, very faithful, sends us a tech tip on a weekly basis, and I appreciate David and listening, and shows you can listen online because that's exactly what he's doing and calling in, and so it shows you can listen to Drive Radio anywhere you want.
And there's proof that it works. I mean, I don't know if do you remember years ago when we had it here, where you had to take a test to get certified, and I did get certified right at the end of it. So I didn't get to do too many of those inspections because
No, it can work. And David's point is well taken. It can definitely work. All right, one more comment. Let's go to Ralph, who's got a comment on Air Care Colorado. What's going on, Ralph?
Well, my comment is I don't really object to the tailpipe. What I object to is the visual. I just rebuilt my 81 Chevy pickup to super specs. I take it in, it passes the tailpipe with flying colors, but when they check under the hood, and look at their book, it says it had an air pump in it, it had an ERG, or it had a whatever.
Yep.
But the goal should be that the tailpipe is running as clean as it should be.
Thank you.
And,
because they're all run by a bunch of politicians, and the EPA has their fingerprint on it to a large extent, and they look at some of that as changing the original design of the vehicle. And what they don't understand is we live in a day and age now to where we are way past where things in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s were. You can retrofit a car today and make it perform much better than it would have then, and it may not be in the same emissions condition it was back then.
Right.
Exactly. I have an 87 El Camino I just bought. I want to restore and tune up and hop up the engine a little bit. I like to go to a fast fuel injection or something, but it's not going to pass because it's going to fail the visual.
You'd have to get an exemption for that, which on that 87 you might be able to do. But your point is well taken, and I've been one that's always said that. What difference does it make? What's ahead of the tailpipe if the tailpipe is clean?
Right.
If somebody from Air Care Colorado can explain to me why that is, I would love to hear the explanation, because no one yet has ever given me a good explanation.
Because some of those systems were crap.
They were junk.
Yeah, they should have never been put on the car.
I'll give you a great example. You could take an 86 Jeep CJ7 with a 4.2 liter with their Pulse Air system. I could put a late model Chevy TBI engine in it, retrofitted, with half the garbage on it that came from the factory, and the V8 would be cleaner than that 6-cylinder was.
Right.
So what difference does it make? It should be what comes out the tailpipe.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Ralph.
So keep after him.
Point well taken, man. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Terry. I think you'll be our last caller this hour. We have lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on the air for the second hour coming right up. 303-477-5600. Terry, what's going on with your F-350?
Well, I just had new tires put on and an alignment done. And I'm going down the highway and I hit the brakes. I dive to the right.
Okay.
They were thinking it's a caliper, but they were telling you it's the right caliper, and I would think that if it's diving to the right, wouldn't it be the left caliper that's not working?
Well, it depends on. Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, it could be. Yeah, it depends on. So it's diving to the right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the right caliper could be working and the left one would not be working.
Or it could be that the right one is working too much, or you've got a hardware issue. In fact, that's one of our tech tips I'm going to give you from David up in Idaho here in just a moment, is if the hardware is not good, things aren't sliding like they're supposed to, if it's hanging up.
It could be in the rear, too.
It could be in the rear. There's a lot of things it could be. I would be one to check all four, not just the right front.
Yeah.
Okay, and what would you do to check the calipers if they're, just the slides and everything else?
You bet. I would take them all apart. I'd get them all greased up, make sure everything is in good shape, remove all the rust. And that's one of the tech tips that David from Idaho has. I'll get into that in a minute when we come back, but that's a great tech tip.
And sometimes when you pull off the wheel, you've got to look at the inside and outside of the pad.
Right.
Because one can wear faster than the other.
Right.
Yeah.
The pad, they said, well, looking good. He just said, well, I'd start with the right front caliper and replace that one.
And this started after what?
No, I needed new tires, and I know my front tires were feathering out.
Okay.
So it definitely needed the alignment, but it was pulling to the right before I had the tire alignment done. But
Got
still
it.
pulling to the right.
Got it. Yeah, I would think it's a brake issue too then.
Yeah, it depends on what the alignment specs are. We'd almost have to see that too, but it sounds more like a brake.
I would say, because those weren't that big a deal to get aligned properly, so with a straight axle in the front, that should not be that big a deal.
Okay.
All right, Terry, thanks for the phone call. We'll talk about that tech tip from David here in just a moment as soon as we come back. Lines are open, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts on winter driving tips. Also, what do you think of Air Care Colorado? Should it go away? Should we have a safety inspection? What should we do? Folks, let me tell you, people listen to the show. Your voice will be heard. So let's hear what you have to say. 303-477-5600. And we're about a minute away from a break is all. Dennis, what else did you want to finish up from this first hour we didn't get a chance to do?
Well, when we were talking about alignments, right, what he was just talking about, it used to be that we would want to fudge with the camber or the caster to get the car to go because of the crown of the hill,
right?
Or the roads that used to be crowned. Now they're crowned both ways,
right?
So
it's not as big. It's a little more difficult than it used to be.
Yeah, it is. And also, you know, there's a difference between a 2-wheel alignment, a thrust, and a 4-wheel alignment. And you know, I've always done a 4-wheel alignment.
And I think you should too.
Yeah, because you know, cars nowadays, I don't care if you have a solid axle, you just want to make sure it's right. And some of the trucks we see, they get the differential will get off.
I agree.
The pins sometimes, and yeah.
All right, we're going to talk more about that when we come back. Don't go away. Real quick, our other sponsor, Paul Leuenberger, American National Insurance Company, 303-619-9891. Paul will save you money. I can guarantee you that because he has saved me money, not just in one area, but a couple. In fact, I just went through my house inspection that American National came out and did. I'm half what I was paying on my homeowner's insurance, and that includes one vehicle with it. So they saved me a ton of money. Paul will do the same thing for you, 303-619-9891. With that, we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. News is next, and we'll come back with more tech tips, car tips, anything you want to talk about. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. Hunting, fishing, camping, guns, and ammo. We'll get you ready for the upcoming archery and muzzleloading seasons. Oh, and we'll also let you know where the fish are biting. Check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. If you love the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Hi, I'm Randy Mills with Revive 1787.
And I'm Dan Muir with Revive 1787.
Join us on October 26th for a Faith and Freedom evening with Navy SEAL Chad Williams.
Okay, and time to announce. Heroes of the 13 Hours in Benghazi. Rekindle the patriotism of America's exceptionalism through the stories presented by Dr. Marshall Foster of the World History Institute.
At Revive 1787, we will edify and empower you with a story from an itinerant survivor all to the blessing of today's family. Revive 1787 in Castle Rock on October 26th.
Register now at revive1787.com. That's revive1787.com.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HDW. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country Station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. A man shooting 3 sheriff's deputies and a bystander in Sacramento. Then the shooter carjacking 2 vehicles. Cops arrested Marcelo Marquez after a day-long manhunt. 2 of the deputies are dead and another hospitalized along with a bystander. In California, Placer County Sheriff Edward Bonner talking about one of the dead deputies, Michael Davis Jr.
This organization, this family, has suffered a horrific loss. Amazingly, Michael's father, Michael David Davis Sr., was a Riverside County Deputy Sheriff, and he was killed in line of duty October 24, 1988. Exactly 26 years ago.
Davis shot by Marquez after Marquez had already shot Sacramento County Deputy Danny Oliver, who also died. Another Ebola scare in New York, with the healthcare worker now testing negative for the deadly virus. The nurse working in West Africa had a fever when she arrived in New York.
Next thing you know.
Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Adam Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark. Weekdays at noon on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60, 7.5. To do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-miles. Whatever that is. Performance image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
We are back, hour 2, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. If you're tuning in on Sunday afternoon, which a lot of you I know do, you cannot call in. We do appreciate you listening and checking us out, and you can actually send us some questions online if you'd like. And by the way, you can do that even on Saturday, John, at drive-radio.com, or just go to our website, drive-radio.com, fill out the comment page, and we get that right away, and we'll answer those questions.
And real quick, and if you don't want to do it that way, and you just go to the Drive Radio, you can see the list of all the participants or the shops that are part of it, or even the other sponsors, and you can just click on their website. And for instance, if you're in Parker and you got a question, you feel free to call.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, no, and a lot of times I will forward those on to those guys that are in your area. So again, if it's Sunday and you're listening, thank you. You just can't call in. Continue to listen. You hear the second 2 hours of Drive Radio. We appreciate it. We have been talking about today winter driving tips.
Yep.
Anybody that's got one, I'd love to hear it. And we've been talking about Air Care Colorado. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And by the way, folks, if you want to send some emails along those lines, I will forward those to some of our legislators. Now that I've got our other show during the day and I've had a lot of legislators on air with me, I'll forward those to some folks, and we'll see what we can do about that. I'm not making any promises, but we'll at least make sure that your voice gets heard. So if you're a no on having Air Care Colorado hang around, let me know. I'd love to hear that information. I'd love to hear that feedback, and I'll pass it along.
Right. And we also were talking about alignments last hour.
Yep.
So if you have any questions on alignments or tires or anything, give us a call.
All right, I'm going to go into David's tech tips in just a moment. I'll take Dan, who's up next, real quick. Dan's got some driving tips. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, guys. Really good to hear from you on the shop from 89 to 98 here in Parker. Also, admissions still stay away from me, and I totally agree with you on the ability of a vehicle to pass emissions without all that garbage that they use to actually, babies even up into the city. I had some good tips that talk about. I'm a professional driver on the CDL, equipment operator, blah, 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 on and on. I could go on and on. At any rate, that fella talked about putting the car neutrals coming up to a slick stop. I've been doing that for a long time. Used to do a lot of four-wheeling, extreme four-wheeling, and you learn that when you're going down a very slippery, even dry hill.
That's true. Yeah.
And you do the same thing. And I think the reason why that's so effective is because
your engine is still pulling, you know, as you deaccelerate with a modern fuel-injected motor, you know how slow they are to deaccelerate when
That's
you let
true.
off.
Yeah.
So it's still, you know, transmission's still pulling against the brakes. And of course, when it's extremely slick like that, you need everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Good
know,
point.
you need every advantage by doing that.
Yeah. Good point.
The other thing, what was it? I forgot what I was going to say.
All right.
Anyhow, I really enjoy you guys. I've been listening to you for a long time.
Appreciate that.
And I lost you. How long have you been on KLZ now?
Oh gosh, 6 years or more since 2008.
Yep. Well, I was out of Colorado for a few years, so, and then I came back. Weren't you on 850
We were on 630 for a long time.
or 630?
Yep,
Yeah.
630. Then we moved over here in 2008.
Yeah, I found it. I really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate that.
I think it's really important for competent and honest guys like you to be talking to people. And you know, our business, ranching has always been something pretty much frowned on, and for good reason. You know, there's a lot of people that have some pretty poor experiences in the past. So again, kudos.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that very much. Enjoy your afternoon. It's actually a beautiful day outside, so thank you so much. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Jim in Denver is up next. Jim, welcome.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us.
Great show. Another afternoon show. I moved here in 1995 from California. I had a 1965 Chevelle.
Okay.
The only car, I sold all my other cars, and I have a 66 Chevelle. So I wanted to get the tires on it. And the guy told me, he said, you know, the secret to getting out of accidents with this car. And I said, well, you know, don't let anybody get it from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my car. You guys have a great Saturday.
Hey, Jim, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it very much. And thanks for listening during the week, too, to my other show. I do appreciate that very much. All right.
You know, a driving tip that saved my life a couple of times is if you have a manual transmission and you're going across the bridge that is icy, push in the clutch and just wait till you get past all the ice and it's a dry road again, and then let out the clutch slowly again.
That's a good idea.
And giving a little bit of gas to keep back up where you need to be. But she had a lady one time, I had told her to do that, and a car in front of her was going, and the lady started spinning out when she hit the bridge, and when she came out through it sideways, she rolled and she died. And Pam had pushed in the clutch behind her and coasted right on through the ice.
Wow.
So, you know, that's something that does work. When they talk about putting it in neutral, the thing that scares me is if you have an automatic transmission and you've got to be careful that you're just getting in neutral.
Don't go to reverse.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because that'll be another,
right.
You'll have another ride. Yeah.
303-477-5600. Call us. Tech tips. Do you like Air Care Colorado? Do you love Air Care Colorado? Maybe you're one of those people that just thinks we should have it. It's been a fantastic program, and we need to keep it. You know, I'm not bashing them. I'm just asking you guys' opinions. What do you think? 303-477-5600. On top of that, should we have a state safety inspection?
Yeah.
Now, the thing about that is, keep in mind, Air Care Colorado only affects the front range. A safety inspection would be a statewide, ran organization, which frankly would be a better run deal, because then you'd have the same program.
I guarantee you'd see less accidents.
I think you're right, Dennis. And you're a tow truck operator.
Yep.
You would know as well as anyone what you haul in.
And see, like with us, we have our trucks inspected all the time.
We do too.
Yeah.
When you're a commercial operator, you don't have a choice. So that's my point. Wait a minute. Hang on. I just said something there, Dennis. So we as businesses have to abide by a certain rule and regulation, but the general populace doesn't.
Right. And they're the ones I'm picking up the cars from.
What's wrong with that picture?
Yeah. You know, it's very seldom that I pick up a commercial vehicle.
That's right.
You know, it's mostly.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're proving our own case the more we go through this. All right. Tech tip from David, and I'll just read what he says here. Something he sees more of late is an increased number of cars that have uneven brake wear. We talked about that in the last hour, I should say. They could be prevented by a more frequent brake pad inspection. Here's what you can do to extend the life of your pads. Remove the calipers, remove the pads, clean any rust, make sure the pads make good contact, and clean the rust where the pads make contact, I should say. Clean and lubricate the slides or slide pins, And while you have the caliper off, inspect the protective rubber boots around the pistons. That's a good point also.
Yeah.
Also, take a pair of adjustable pliers and apply light pressure on the piston to compress it. What you want to look for is the piston to spring back a tiny amount when you release the pressure. If it doesn't, the caliper is dragging and it needs replaced. Great tech tips, David. And David called in during that first hour. Thank you, David, for that. We'll continue to give those out. He's going to give us a tip every week, and I appreciate that. Again, our number, 303-477-5600.
And if you have questions about why some of the, like you were saying about the boots around the piston, why would we have to inspect those? We can tell you exactly why. So call in and ask.
That's exactly right. We'd love to talk to you. 303-477-5600. One more before the break. Let's go to Jim in Inglewood, who's up next. Jim, welcome.
It's right. I have two questions.
Sure.
I have a car with 106,000 miles on it, and I'm wondering if I use injector cleaners, and if so, what manufacturer would make. Also, I have a question about I have a car that I drive in the winter, and I've heard about these gas preservatives that you can put in the tank.
Yes.
What do you think about all those questions, please?
Let's do number 2 first, which is the gas preservative. Yeah, you can use a product called Stable or Seafoam. Either one works well. Stable actually has a product now called Stable 360, which helps with some of the ethanol that we've got in the fuels, and I would recommend that over even, I think, Seafoam, just because of the ethanol that we now have. So yeah, that'll treat the fuel. It'll run it all the way through whatever season you want to run through. And yes, I would recommend that to anybody that's getting ready to store any kind of equipment with gasoline in it.
Now the Stable, am I right? It mixes with the gas.
That's right.
Where the foam goes on top.
No, they both mix in now. That's kind of a fallacy with when they both mix in and do a great job of just treating the fuel.
It used to be that
So you add it a week before, then drive it for a little bit, or you just
doesn't matter. You just add it to the tank, and we recommend you have a full tank as much as you can. Have a full tank of gas. Add that treatment to it, and it can sit all season long. If you get it out and drive it a little bit and bring it back, it's still treated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. And then the injector cleaner, do you recommend do they work?
What car are you driving, first of all? Let's start there.
Lexus.
Okay, go ahead, Dennis.
Well, there's a couple. Every shop's going to have a different chemical that they probably use, but I personally think that the fuel injections on the imports are very good because they seem to run different than the American motors. They seem to run hotter in a sense, the combustion chamber and stuff. So I like to do injector cleaner. When you get those done, you're going to feel a difference in it too. You're going to feel it because the carbon seems to build up pretty quick in those. So I like injector cleaners.
Do you have any particular make you prefer?
The VG44K is a good product. It's sold at the local Napa store. You can find that pretty much anywhere.
Justice Brothers.
Yeah, Justice Brothers makes some good product. There's a number of good injector cleaners on the market. Lucas makes a good injector cleaner also. There isn't just one of those. There's a numerous amount of them on the market.
They do good. Yeah.
They're all good product.
Very good.
Okay. You bet. Appreciate it very much, Jim. Thanks for the phone call.
I think it's more important that you do it.
Yeah, and by the way, Jim, once a year is all you really need to do. You don't need to do any more than that. Even 106K once a year would be more than enough, and treat the fuel, and you'll be fine doing it that way. So, okay, guys, we'll be back with right after this. Don't go away. We're going to talk more on alignments, winter weather, driving tips. We're going to talk about nitrogen in the tires also. And then, hey, if you got a comment on Air Colorado, I'd love to hear it. We were talking earlier, a nice blue dome that's above us, how beautiful the trees look. There's no smog. And I will tell you that that's not because of Air Care Colorado. We'll be back right after this. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
You use the motor oil Dad used, and he uses what Granddad used, yet no one uses what Great-Granddad used, because whale oil is illegal. But if oil's what you need, Napa has you covered. With Castrol GCX for only $3.79 a quart, or 5 quarts of the Napa Silver filter for just $21.99. No harpoons needed. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. Sales price pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Participating in auto parts stores. Offer expires 11/16/14.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles of Flat Canyon, or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's genosautoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple. And it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N air-take system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower. A dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
All right, and we are back. Thanks for tuning in again. A beautiful, beautiful Colorado day. I'm sad to say my wife and son went to the CU game or on their way. I'm sure they're there now, sitting in the stands, watching the festivities of homecoming weekend, getting ready to watch the Bucs play here in just a little bit. And I will tell you, Dennis, that I was about this close from saying, Dennis,
you're on your own.
I went to con today, but I didn't. I knew I needed to be here.
I was going to do the same thing because I have not had a weekend free since like June, because we've had something planned every weekend.
I hear you. I got a big day tomorrow. We've got Revive 1787 down in Douglas County Fairgrounds tomorrow that we've been promoting on KLZ, which, by the way, if you want to know more about that event, go to Revive1787.com. I believe you can still get some tickets for that. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. We'll have a lot of fun. A lot of great speakers will be there. So, yeah, my weekend's full. It is about 1787 is when the Constitution was signed. So that's the first thing it's about. So a lot of the speakers there will talk about how we need to get back to constitutional law, constitutional principles, get our leaders and our elected officials back to believing in the Constitution. Unfortunately, we have a president today that doesn't even believe in it. So sorry if I'm stepping on toes, but I'm just giving you the facts. So it's a lot about that. Also talks about how our spiritual roots have been forgotten. This country was founded on Christian principles, and so it talks about that. So it'll be a great weekend. If you'd like to go down and enjoy some time with them, I would encourage you to do so. It'll be 13 hours of Benghazi. The book and all the guys that wrote it will be there. They're giving you the true facts of what happened at Benghazi. There'll be Chad Williams. He wrote a book called Seal of God, a Navy SEAL that wrote a great book. Dr. Foster, Marshall Foster, will be there doing the keynote speaking later in the evening. It'll be a lot of fun. I would encourage you, if you want to know more about it, go to Revive1787.com. And I think if you really want to go badly and can't afford it, email me. I think we've got a few extra tickets floating around. I can get you in for nothing. If you decide you want to do that, let me know and we'll make that happen. But yeah, that'll be a great weekend. So your point, Dennis, yeah, I got a lot going on this weekend. So I almost called after looking outside this morning. I thought, man, this would be a great day to not be in a studio, but
I have a lot to do with both the shop and the house, and I'd like to get done, but
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
So thank you. And then thanks to all of you that listen. The reason why we do come in and we do this, and you guys are all out enjoying the weekend, and we're looking out the window. It's a beautiful view. We enjoy that. I wish these windows open, but it's obvious why they don't. Well, story, probably not a good idea to have windows that open, but hey, it's a great view. A great day outside. We enjoy it, and hope you are too. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Call us and tell us either what you're doing, tell us about a winter driving tip, tell us about Air Care Colorado and whether you like that or not. Tell us whether or not you like the fact that we do not have a safety inspection. Should we have a safety inspection in this state?
Or call us with any other problem you got on your car you'd like to ask.
Anything you want to talk about, that's what we're here for again.
Larry needs to be busy in there.
Yeah, let's get him busy. Lines, and by the way, we don't have lines open this time of the day very often, so call us. We'll get you right on. 303-477-5600. All right, kind of I don't want to say this is a controversial topic, but it's been around a long time. People have been kicking it around. Some of us, even in the Colorado Select group, use it. But we're going to talk about nitrogen in the tires. Do you need it? Do you not need it? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of it? And we've talked about this a lot in the past. And here's kind of where it lies. Nitrogen does have less tendency to seep out of the tire, thereby reducing air pressure. It's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. So Consumer Reports did a year-long study to determine how much loss was experienced in tires filled with nitrogen versus those filled with air. The results showed that nitrogen did reduce pressure loss over time, but it was only a 1.3 psi difference from regular air-filled tires. Among 31 pairs of tires, the average loss of an air-filled tire was 3.5 psi from the initial 30 psi setting. Nitrogen-filled tires lost an average of 2.2 psi from the initial setting. So nitrogen won the test, but not by a super large margin. So is nitrogen worth it? You know, if you've got the ability to do it, you're not going to spend a fortune to have it done. Is it worth doing? Yeah, I think it is. Is it something I'd run out tomorrow and worry about having done? No, I wouldn't worry about having it done. That's my thoughts. Dennis, what do you think?
I like the way you put that because I'm a pro on nitrogen. You know, I use it a lot in my tow trucks because we're jumping in at any given time in the cold weather and stuff. I also use it in my own personal vehicles. I think when you're going on long trips, I think it keeps the tires stable.
More stable.
Yep. And in the morning, you know, I've gone out to my cars in the morning and look at tires before when I wasn't using it, they look flat, especially extreme cold.
Right.
And now when I go out there, my tires are full. And I think it gives it a better wearing pattern on the tire because it's not having that fluctuation in tires. But I also drive on a dirt road that has washboard roads real bad. In the morning, that's not good when your tire's looking low.
Do you as a shop use it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you charge customers to fill them up, or is it just something you do?
We do charge. The initial fill up is $5 a tire.
And that's because you've got a
machine,
and you have to, and it cycles air through the tire, correct?
Right.
So it's a process that actually has to go through. Because the other thing that you can't do is just go out and buy nitrogen in a bottle, for example, and fill the tire. You won't get enough of the other air out to really make it effective.
Especially on brand new tires, it's really easy to put it in then, you know. But you know, the way we do it is it's $5 a tire, right? So you're looking at $20 if you do a tire, all four wheels. If you get a flat or anything happens, you bring it back in, we'll refill it for free.
Got it.
You know,
and that was one of the things they were saying here is don't overpay to have this service done.
I know that when people have the tire monitoring systems,
it's more stable there. I can tell you that.
That's why we got it to knock off a lot because we had a couple customers that we kept having problems with.
Chryslers in particular are really bad about that.
They're sensitive.
They're very sensitive.
Yeah, and by using the nitrogen, we've noticed that it's taken that problem away.
Got it.
Yeah, that's where it is good.
Good feedback. 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. Bob in Lakewood, what are your questions?
Hi, guys. Appreciate you taking my call. I have a really good friend that's a really good mechanic, and I just bought an 09 Chevy Silverado 4x4 2500 heavy duty with a 6.0.
Okay.
And I was contemplating on putting a K&N air filter on there. I had one on my other truck, and I liked it, but my buddy says, man, you get a roomy engine, they're too porous, and lets in too much dirt.
He's full of crap.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious. He's full of crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I agree with John on that.
That's not true. I've been through K&N's factory. In fact, I'll put a good plug in for K&N and for us on this side of the fence. Go to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com. In the search bar of YouTube, type in Drive Radio. It'll take you to our Drive Radio channel. Some of our earliest videos that I did all the way back in, I think, March of this year, was a tour of K&N and their facilities. You can see firsthand in those videos how they do all of their testing, how they check a filter, how they check their filter against a paper filter. It's extremely interesting. You'll enjoy watching it, and it will disprove everything he just said.
Really? Well, you know, and I kind of thought that because I had one on my truck before when I put K&N on there versus like the old Fram or whatever. I noticed I have a difference.
Yep.
You know, I noticed the difference in performance, and you know, I believe I have more horsepower. But I just want to confirm with you.
You are correct. He is incorrect. He's working off of some wives' tale stories that have been floating around our industry for eons. And I will tell you that as much as I love our industry, it has a propensity to get on a particular topic that is not true and stick with it. And I don't know why that is, but our industry is really bad about that. And K&N in our industry is one of those among technicians where the oil thing, that's another one where guys think that, well, you've ran Pennzoil all these years, you can't switch to Quaker State. Nothing could be farther from the truth, and those technicians don't know what they're talking about.
And we were talking about this earlier, the first hour, that the technology nowadays is just huge. It's really what was going on 7 years ago isn't going on this now. They've rectified that.
That's right.
Yeah,
K&N all along has been a very, very high quality filter, but their testing just continues to get even better and better and better. In fact, they've got equipment, Bob, that other manufacturers come to them. Some of the OEMs even come to them to have filters tested because of how high quality their testing equipment is.
Wow, well, that's really good to know. Is there a difference in K&N filters? I mean, is there one that would work better on my?
Nope. You can either buy the drop-in element or you can buy the cold air intake. Either one works fantastic.
Which one of those will give you more horsepower?
Cold air intake.
The cold air intake.
Yep. And I would advise that on that vehicle. They work. I've had that vehicle and I've had that kit on. It works very well.
Perfect. And guys, I just have one more question.
Sure.
I just bought this truck.
You're fine.
I put a camper shell on it, and I've noticed that with the tailgate on the sides, it seems like there's a pretty fair gap there. And I've noticed it pretty much on most Chevys that I've seen, to where if you get a rainstorm or you're washing it, you get water inside of that. I've got the camper shell, I've got some carpet in there. Is there anything that you know of some aftermarket device maybe that you can put on there, like a weather strip or something, to keep that water from getting in?
Yeah, in fact, the camper shell itself should have weather stripping between the shell and the bed of the truck.
Okay, it does.
Okay.
And also at the tailgate.
Yeah, and make sure you put weather stripping around the tailgate because you'll get water in through the tailgate. And if you really want to totally waterproof, make sure that you have plugged up the drain holes in the bed because you'll get water from underneath that comes back up through also.
Perfect.
Okay.
Guys, you guys are great.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it very much. You know, K&N, one of our great sponsors, and I would tell you about K&N whether they were a sponsor or not. Those guys do fantastic. They have some of the best products, the best products on the market, not some of the best in their industry. And I've been through their facility numerous times. And you know what? You won't find a better bunch of guys. They stand behind every single product they sell. Go in, watch those videos. If you've got any questions about K&N, those videos will set the record straight, and just go in and watch them, and it's all right there.
And you know, when you're just mentioning about this camper shell, if you do have those plugs open and you have a little bit of an air leak in the back, it'll actually suck the water up and in.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So, yeah.
When you said that, that reminded me because I was having that problem.
Yeah, so fill all those in and you'll be fine. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. JR's got a comment on inspections. Alan from Woodland Park has a question about 6-volt versus 12-volt systems. Great question. We'll be back. One line open is all 303-477-756. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
Know-how! Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. And this month, we're making it easy for you to show your support too. Make any $25 purchase, and you'll receive a free Napa Camo racing cap. For every cap we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa Know-how. at participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 11/16/14.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, along with Dennis Brewster. He's out in the Parker area. If you've got any kind of vehicle, Dennis has got a big shop. He can do literally anything from big trucks to small cars. He's a Nissan expert, factory trained GM tech. All of his guys are very well trained and versed in everything that you need on your vehicle. Go out there and see him. They're right off of Dransville Road out in Parker. What's your address exactly, Dennis?
It's 10274 South Dransville Road.
Awesome.
In Parker.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you get in the Parker area, go see Dennis. He'll take care of you. Junior's up next. Junior in Denver, what's going on?
Well, I'm in agreement with the safety inspections, but what do you think? How much should it cost to do that inspection? Who would benefit? Who are the benefactors of that, money-wise and safety-wise?
Well, and I'm not sure there'd be any benefit outside of the people actually doing the inspection, because I don't think you should spend more than, my thought process would be $25 to $40 roughly should be all the more that should cost. It shouldn't be a whole lot different than what you're doing now with the Air Care Colorado inspection. It might be a tad more because you're gonna have a little more time spent on it. But ultimately, who's the benefactor? All of us driving would be the benefactors. We're not going to be the benefactors monetarily speaking, but we would be the benefactors safety speaking.
Right. And I think you'd have to charge a little bit more because you'd want a little bit more professional,
want a higher quality
tech doing it. You know?
And I don't know what other states, charge Junior to do a full inspection. I don't know whether it's, I don't think you get up to the $100 range. I don't think we're going to be able to do it for as little as $25. You're going to have to be probably in that $40 range roughly to get it done.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I don't know. It would be more than what we're paying now to do a tailpipe test, but the tailpipe test, as we've been talking about today, it's irrelevant anymore. We don't need it. It's a waste of everybody's time to even go in and hand the money over. Let's at least get something out of the program.
Well, would it be a private inspector? Would it be independent shops like you? And then if it was, then who would benefit for that part? Let's say there are safety issues.
That's a great question, and that's something I think I could go both ways. We've had even callers today call in and say, it could be run by the shops. We've had others that say it could be run by, Air Care Colorado could just convert over. They're already owned by a company that does safety inspections across the country and other states. It'd be a very easy thing for them to transition to. How would that happen? I think that's where we need to have, I talked about this in the first hour, Junior, we need a committee to get together, sit down, some industry professionals, probably some folks from the public, talk about what the best ways to do that would be, come up with some solutions, and then take it and run with it at that point.
I like the idea of them doing the inspections. That way the shops can be held accountable in a different way, because they would do the inspections and say, this is what's wrong with your vehicle. We need to see it fixed. You go find the shop that you want to get it fixed, or if you want to fix it yourself, or whoever.
And if they're an approved shop and they can sign off on the repairs, you bring the slip back that says they've signed off on it, done deal, off you go.
Or you just show the parts receipts and you show you did your work, and they re-inspect it. If they find you didn't do it, then they just fail you again.
That's right. Now, there's a lot of easy ways this could be handled, Junior, where it would benefit the drivers the most. Cost-wise, I think what you do there is you just figure out, everybody has to be profitable in business or they can't run a program. So you figure out where that margin needs to be, and you get it set and you handle it, and whoever's running the program, they use the profits to reinvest back into the business, and off they go. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
And even if they did it every other year, you had to have your car inspected.
I think every other year would be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for answering my question there. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, appreciate that, Junior. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. That's a great question, by the way.
It is a great question. I think every other year would be fine.
I think you'd be fine.
I like the idea of that. Even though I'm a shop owner, I like the idea of
like an independent person doing it.
Right.
I think it takes the burden off of the shop owners.
And it takes off the chance of cheating the system.
Yeah. Although if you had the right inspection systems where the people had to be certified, no matter what, you're going to get some cheats. Even in Air Care Colorado, by the way, folks, if you think everybody there is 100% honest,
no,
they're not.
No.
I mean, I've seen it. I know what happens at some of those facilities. So anyways, 303-477-5600. What are your questions, comments, driving tips, winter driving tips? We'd love to hear more of those for the benefit of those listening. Alan in Woodland Park, what's going on?
Hey, I had a question. I picked up a 41 KB1 International, and I'm redoing it. It has the original 6-volt system, and I'm wondering if it's a benefit to convert to the 12-volt, or should I keep it the same?
It's a benefit to switch over.
Okay.
And it's not that hard to switch over. You've got to change light bulbs, certain gauges. Certain gauges don't matter. Certain gauges do. Alternator starter you can leave alone because actually the 6-volt starter is heavier than a 12-volt starter, so you don't have to change starter. Yeah, just a charging system is really all you need to upgrade. The battery, of course, itself. Really, that's about it. It's really not a hard. I've switched to, in the old days. I'm dating myself now. A lot of the old Jeeps would be 6 cylinders, and we convert over, and it really wasn't a hard thing to convert.
But is that 6 volts a negative, positive ground or negative?
I think on that International, it's still a negative ground.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's an easy switch.
Okay. Thank you.
And by the way, gauge-wise, just so you know, fuel gauge you have to change out. Amp meter, no, because amp meter's amps. Doesn't matter whether it's 6 volts or 12 volts.
Right.
And I don't know what other gauges you've got in there, but speedometer's mechanical, so you just got lights. So it's for that vehicle, that's an easy switch.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling in. 303-477-5600. One line open is all.
That shows that we'll take any question.
That's right.
Come on, people, call us up. Let's get Larry busy.
It could be an old car, a new car. Doesn't make any difference. We'll talk about anything you want to talk about. Jerry has a comment on Air Care Colorado. Jerry, what's going on?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, John, I want to tell you I really appreciate your show. I've been listening, I think, ever since you've been on. And I also really appreciate your show during the week.
Thank you.
I agree with all your, I guess the reason I like it is because I agree with you on everything. But anyway, the inspection, safety inspection program went clear back, I guess, into the 40s and 50s. And I remember taking cars in all those years. But before it came to an end, it was probably the thing I dreaded more than anything else. And one of the reasons is I had a 68 El Camino at the time. I had front brake where you had to completely remove the drum to check them.
Yep.
And they'd send some kid out there, and he'd jack it up, and then he'd take a big hammer and start beating up the dust cap and get it all bent. I'm kind of particular about
sure.
And it just drove me crazy to take my vehicle in there. And then it got to where one place I drove in, they lifted up one of the windshield wipers and just immediately jerked them off. Like I had no right to go replace them myself. I mean, they were going to sell them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just things like that.
Yeah. And that's what ruined it. And unfortunately, the bad guys in the industry and not paying, the state should have paid more attention to how that program was being run. But I think what happened was there was a hidden agenda to get Air Care Colorado in here and get going on that. And then that's eventually, I think the state just lost interest on the one side of the fence and really implemented Air Care Colorado clear back in the early 80s. I can remember that thing getting started, or our emissions program, not Air Care Colorado, but our emissions program got it started. And here's the difference today too, as we talked to Jerry through the show. The difference today is doing the inspections versus your old El Camino. Most of the brakes now can be inspected with a flashlight without ever removing a wheel. I mean, there's so many more advantages we've had on late model cars now that would make that process so much easier.
Yeah, no, I fully understand, and I agree. I mean, I see the cars that have nothing wrong with. But anyway, I just feel like everything always deteriorates, degenerates down to its lowest common denominator.
Yep.
I think no matter how hard we try, it'll just go down. But I mean, if you were in charge, maybe you could keep it up as top quality. But anyway,
you definitely are going to have checks in any system, and that's part of it's part of my complaint with Air Care Colorado right now. Is I don't think we have enough checks and balances in it. We keep vacillating on. We're going to check engine lights, and now we're not going to check it. Well, now January 1st, they're going to check it again. And the reality is, we're checking things that really, at the end of the day, this is my view on it. look outside the window today. Tell me how clear, crystal clear it is, and tell me we still need air care, Colorado. That's my bottom line.
And plus, technology has come a long way, and we've changed a lot of that problems that we were having back in the 80s.
That's right.
A lot of that stuff has gone away. The way they were having the cars run, what they had on them, the air pumps and stuff that never really worked.
That's right.
Yeah.
But getting back to the safety inspection, Jerry, could that be run by a valid, solid company that could train technicians, do that properly, etc.? Yeah, I think it could. And the other option, we've got to just do away with it. Don't have any safety inspection. See how things go. Let the policemen have a little more authority over who they could pull over and actually check from time to time, which right now they do none of.
Yeah.
Put the power back into the law enforcement and just see how it goes. That's the other option we have also.
There should be no reason to car drive around without a fender.
Well, no, and Jerry, you've seen this. You've seen the cars. I've seen them drive, but I've seen cars with windshields that you couldn't see out of drive past a officer and not get pulled over.
I agree. Well, the only other comment I have is about air care. I totally agree with you. I've not had a problem in there for 20 years or more. I mean, it's just a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. Thank you. It's a waste of time and money. Jerry, I thank you so much for calling in. Thanks for listening during the week, too. I appreciate that, also very much. And hopefully we're making a difference, not only on the weekend, but during the week also. And those of you that may not know, I do a show during the day here on KLZ, Rush to Reason, 2 to 3 p.m., hopefully 2 to 4 p.m. here in the very near future. So, keep listening to us, and we encourage you to do that. One line open, 303-477-5600. Ted's got a question on decarboning, I'm guessing, an engine. Ted, welcome.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
And are you up in Montana, Ted?
Yes, the town of Whitehall, Montana.
Well, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate that.
Well, I'm 64 years old, and growing up, old Ford trucks, I always had 300 six-bangers or 312s or vice versa, 390. We used to take and my dad showed me this, and you rev the motor up a little bit and slowly pour ATF down the carburetor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And of course, it would kill all the mosquitoes.
Yep.
And I actually did notice that it would change the way the engine idled.
That's right.
That actually takes carbon off.
It does, yeah. Back in those days, ATF and or guys used brake fluid. Brake fluid was another one that worked well at decarboning. And today, Ted, we just have gotten so much further advanced. We've got machines now that actually will do the decarboning. We've got better solutions to do the decarboning. There's even additives now you can put in the gas tank that help with a lot of the decarboning. And we just come a long way. So the need to, use ATF. I mean, you still can do that on an older car. You can't do it on a new car with the catalytic converter, or you'll really have issues with your catalytic converter. But an older car, yeah, you could still do that.
Well, that's what I'm rebuilding an old 1967 Ford flatbed 1 ton.
Got it.
And it's got an old 306 in it.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to hit that sucker with it then.
Well, I tell you what, in that particular unit, and this is going to sound odd, but the best decarboning of an older engine like that I think you can buy is GM's decarboning solution. It's called Top Engine Cleaner. You can still buy it from the GM dealer. It's a great solution. It's instructions on the can. You'll pour it in, actually kill the engine, let it sit overnight so that it does its soaking, fire it up the next morning, and that stuff works.
Yeah. Great. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. On an old engine, it's the best.
Yes. Well, one other thing real quick. He's talking about putting different nitrogen in the tires. Years ago, I ran an Outlaw sprint car, and they came out with the carbon fiber wheels, and everybody went to nitrogen because you wouldn't think of 1 pound makes a lot of difference in a race car.
Yes, it does.
But it makes a world.
Yep, sure it does.
And that actually kept the pressure changing and stay like 25 laps.
Yep, exactly right. No, it's more stable is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, listen, y'all guys great. You love your show.
Appreciate it, Ted. Tell your friends and family to listen. Yeah, we love your state, too. So thanks so much, and you guys keep up the good work up there.
All right. Thank you a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate that phone call. And let's take a quick break. One line open is all. 303-477-5600. We'll be back right after this. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Wow. Is that an angry monkey screaming at you? No, it's your windshield wipers. They're literally crying out for you to replace them. Lucky for you, Napa now has 30% off select visibility products. That's 30% off wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. So cut all the monkey business and conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 10/31/14.
They service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and experts.
My fault. Sorry about that.
Integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From
I'm listening.
Repairs. You can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4, located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at Johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, no, I don't believe in that at all. It's
Very true.
Require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Or are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto.
I don't know. We'll find out next week.
If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, here we go.
He's hit our songs.
Yeah. It's about time you started playing some non-punk rock music, which I never liked. So thank you, Matt, for playing my music instead of Ken Clark's music. I know you and Ken are bonding, but I like this music better.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I like this stuff more than I like the punk rock.
Okay, well, thank you, Matt. Perfect. Appreciate that. All right. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Roy and Monument, what's going on today?
Hey, buddy, I heard that guy switching that international over to
6 volts to 12 volts. Yep.
Yeah. Don't forget the horns.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, you blow those out if you don't switch them over.
Yeah, my dad left me a bunch of old horns, and I tested them on the batteries, and they wouldn't work. And I said, what's going on here? And then they said, oh, they're 6-volt horns.
Yeah, I forgot about that, too. Yeah, you got to change the horn.
Yeah, you got to change that diaphragm in there. You can fix them, but, and then... But yeah, the horn.
Did I forget anything else, Roy?
Well, yeah, probably repolarize the flux capacitor and put
all right, Roy, you got me going. Okay, you got me going. Last night, my wife and I, she likes Hawaii Five-0. It's a cheesy show, so I watch it to because it's the wife wanting to watch it. So we're watching Hawaii Five-0 at the very end of the show last night.
Cool hair, though, yeah.
He's out here, and he's, McGarrett, he's out working on the car, and he's got the hood up.
I saw that.
And the gal comes over and looks at him, she's like, you got a differential problem. And he's got the hood open, and I'm thinking, what, time out. I had to pause the show. I'm like, wait a minute. The hood's open, but he's got a differential problem. So then I continue on. And he continues to say, yeah, well, I rebuilt it all, and it's just not running very well. And she's like, well, maybe we should put some new thrust washers and something else in it. And I just about fell on the floor laughing.
That's a real-world drive car.
I got to get the clips out of that. Somehow I got to get the clip of that audio and put it into our openers because it was so hilarious. I almost fell off the couch.
Yeah. And also the harmonic redundancy vacillator.
That's right. And the muffler bearing.
That's right.
The brake fluid. The brake fluid. Swap that brake fluid out. Blinker fluid.
Blinker fluid.
There it is. Yeah, blinker fluid.
That's right. Roy, man, thanks for calling.
Okay, buddy.
Appreciate it a lot. You have a good afternoon.
You too.
All right.
You know, when we're talking about the safety inspections, that's one thing that is always missed on people's cars. Horns.
Yeah, horns.
Yeah.
Horns, wipers, the common things, the
Common
things that always
things.
get missed. Again, line open 303-477-5600. Maybe you were watching Hawaii Five-0 last night. Want to chime on it? Were you watching it?
Yeah, because my wife loves that show. Yeah.
Well, I'm ready to pull my hair out. I'm like, you gotta be joking me. You've got nobody in the entire movie producing staff that knows about a car.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's rear-wheel drive car.
Exactly.
It's an old Mercury.
Right.
Right. And he's laying underneath the front of it working.
Right.
And he comes out with a crescent wrench.
Yeah. Which I don't fix a car with either.
Yeah. I'm thinking, what is underneath there that he could be working on other than an oil pan?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
But the differential is up front.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he asked her, do you know anything about intake manifolds? I got a leak in my intake manifold I can't seem to fix.
Oh, I was dying last night. Did you put a thrust washer in? That'll fix it. All right, let's go to Craig and Wheat Ridge. Craig, what's going on?
How you doing, guys?
Doing great.
Doing really good, yeah.
Well, I recently bought a used car for my son for first car and had the emissions test done. You know, within 3 days, they give you the voucher.
Right,
Have it
right.
done. Well, upon inspection of the car, I realized that the muffler was probably going to need to be replaced. The outer casing had rusted through, and I went down to a muffler shop and yesterday had them replace the muffler. As they did a leak steel test to make sure their weld was good on the muffler, they found a leak in the resonator, which is directly underneath the passenger compartment under the floor pan.
Right.
And so it was leaking exhaust up underneath, you know, the passenger compartment, basically. So basically, there's two things there that an emissions testing station should pick up on. You know, they're probably safety related in a way.
Yeah, that one would be safety related because the exhaust fumes coming up would be safety, yes.
Yeah.
But it's directly emissions related, so, you know, you'd think they would have found that, but they didn't. So, it passed emissions. I'm thankful for that.
Right.
But you got safety related issues that they don't even pick up on.
No, they don't. You're right about that.
Fair.
No,
Yeah.
no, they've got a certain checklist of things that you have to go through. You know, i.e., does the shift indicator work properly? Do you know if you're in neutral park, drive, what have you? Which don't ask me what that has to do with getting an emissions test. But if the shift indicator doesn't work, you have to have that fixed. But yet you could have a broken windshield, and that would be no big deal. Or have an exhaust leak like you're talking about. And have it. Now, if it's a severe enough exhaust leak that it affects emissions, they'll then flag it. But if they don't notice it, they're not going to say a word.
Right.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. All right, let's move along. One line open, 303-477-5600. Dennis is up next. Dennis, welcome.
Hey, John. Thank you guys both for being there today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for calling.
It's awesome out here.
Yes, it is. I envy you guys out there right now.
Yeah.
Hey, a few things. First of all, the guy with the tailgate leak.
Yes.
Have them go to Suburban Toppers or call them. They sell a tailgate gasket kit.
Yep.
Self-adhesive that sticks to the truck, not the tailgate, but it works awesome.
Yeah, and Dennis is right. Suburban Toppers, any of the four-wheel drive stores around town. Napa, actually, believe it or not, Dennis, if you get the right parts guy, can look that up and order it also because it's available through a numerous amount of channels.
Right.
I've had one on the Beast for 10 years, and it's still stuck.
Yep, they work great.
Few thoughts on the safety inspection.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, you know, I'm the kind of guy that would like to see the end result. So you're right, we need the safety inspections, but I would like to see a setup where maybe they have a parts section in the store. They tell you what's wrong because they are independent. You can drive off, have it fixed somewhere else, or you can go buy the part, repair the item, and come back and get a $5 discount.
Yeah, that'd be okay too.
Immediately.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, and I'm one that just says, Dennis, let's talk about this. Let's get this dialogue going. Let's get some state legislators to start talking about this and thinking about it. And let's get this thing fixed because right now, Air Care Colorado is a waste of time and money.
Absolutely, it is. And you know, in a perfect world, maybe they have a state patrolman there that red tags your car, just like the DOT guys.
Right.
It's bad enough.
Right. The only inspection that I think we're doing any good with today when it comes to Air Care Colorado, and it's interesting, it's not run by Air Care Colorado, are the diesel emissions inspections.
Yeah.
those are the only ones that I think are actually even doing any good, Dennis, because they are actually, checking for, excessive smoke, things along those lines. And, is that one that we continue to have? That one I'd have to talk through and kind of think through. I'm not sure about that one because that's a whole different ball game than the gasoline engine side of the fence. But the gasoline engine side, we don't need.
And I think what they do is they send out a thing saying, a registration letter saying your car's going to need to be registered in 4 months. You have this much time to get your inspection done, and do them every other year. Right. And, that's my thought. But
the biggest problem, Dennis, of course, is, we're going to fight City Hall on this, and Air Care Colorado and the conglomerate that owns them now is going to have huge lobbying power to influence and not have that system taken out. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough one no matter how we do it.
Well, and, that brings me to my last point is, if these legislators are listening to the show, I would urge them to call in and identify themselves so we know who to vote for.
Got it. Yeah, great
idea.
And if you got any questions on who to vote for, I can tell you who listens. So anybody that's got any questions on that, personally email me, and I will tell you who listens and who in our state is worth listening to and voting for, and who is not, because I can tell you right now who listens to KLZ on a regular basis. So that's an easy one.
Well, and I would just hope they got enough guts and integrity to call in and identify themselves.
That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate that, Dennis.
I like you calling them out.
That's right. Appreciate that. All right, we got to run to the news real quick, Dennis. Thanks for calling in. Barry and Lakewood, hang with us. We will be back with you in just a moment. You've got another comment on Air Care Colorado, which I want to hear, and any others that have that, please call us. We'll get you lined out for the last hour of Drive Radio, 303-477-5600, and we will be back. Do not go away. John Rush, your host, Dennis Brewster, also your co-host, Extreme Auto Repair out in Parker. We'll be back right after this. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Randy Corbin from The Morning Show. We are counting down to Election Day. Coming up on the show, video master spy James O'Keefe, his former partner in crime, Hannah Giles, Robert Spencer from Jihad Watch, Byron York, Steve Dace, Dana Lash, so much more. Always traffic and weather with Zach Pugh, your calls, and yes, I'll be back. Join us for Election Week starting Monday. It's Wake Up with Randy Corbin, 5 to 8 a.m. right here on KLZ 560.
The government that governs best governs least. Thomas Jefferson.
All eyes in America are on Colorado, and specifically Jefferson County. The Democrats know they cannot win the state without taking Jeffco, so let's take the option off the table. On November 4th, vote for freedom, liberty, and truth. Check your registration status at klz560radio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver.
Listen live at klz560radio.com.
KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James.
This guy is on a one-man crime spree today, and he has no idea the damage he did.
In California, that's Placer County spokeswoman Dina Irwin. A man now in custody after shooting sheriff's deputies and an innocent bystander. 2 deputies are dead, another hospitalized. More from the Blaze Radio's Ken Stevens.
This organization, this family, has suffered a horrific loss.
Placer County Sheriff Edward Bonner talking about the shooting death of 2 deputies, one of them Michael Davis Jr.
Amazingly, Michael's father, Michael David Davis Sr., was a Riverside County deputy sheriff, and he was killed in the line of duty October 24th, 1988, exactly 26 years ago.
Davis killed after a chase with suspect Marcelo Marquez, who police say earlier shot and killed a Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy. Another deputy and a bystander wounded. Marquez now in custody.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? MakeTheBlaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Randy Corbin at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
Somebody fancy automobile. Oh, she's the real road king, all right. 0 to 60, 7.5. She did a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds. Whatever that is. Performance needed, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And we're back. I guess John's just not yet. He's reading something.
I'm actually reading an email. Somebody was listening to us and would like to go to Revive 1787 tomorrow. So perfect. I will send that on to Dan, who's in charge of that, and we'll get some free tickets out to you. So Bill, I know you were listening. I appreciate that. We will make sure you've got some tickets to show up to that event tomorrow. So that shows you folks are listening, Dennis.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah, so I was a little occupied reading that.
That's
so.
fine. Yep.
So thanks for helping me out. No, that's perfect. I appreciate that. So yes, by the way, you can always email us, drive-radio.com. If you want to ask a question and not come on air, ask it off air. I should say that more. I don't do that enough. You can email us even live during the show. John, J-O-H-N, put the H in there. So J-O-H-N at drive-radio.com. I'll read it. We'll answer it. I've got another one here we'll get to in just a moment. But yeah, Bill, thank you for that. I'll make sure that we get those to you. I'll send an email here in just a moment at the next break and make sure that gets handled. Let's go to Barry, who's up next. Barry, what's your comments on Air Care Colorado?
Well, as long as we are required to take our vehicles to Air Care Colorado, I much prefer driving by those roadside vans rather than go to the trouble of taking it to that facility. But what I really appreciate would be a way to go online and perhaps enter my license tag number and see if I had passed the roadside test rather than wait for that postcard to come. I just think that would really simplify a lot of folks' lives, because you don't know if that van you drove by was up and running or if the fellow was taking a break. You understand my
No, I understand totally.
And with technology today, we could do that. I'm sure that they can do that. There's a way if they wanted to do that.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, thanks, guys, for your show.
You bet. Thank you very much, Ron. Great suggestions. And we always get great suggestions from our listeners. And it just goes to show you, Dennis, if politicians will listen, L-I-S-T-E-N, if they will listen to the constituents, they will give them all sorts of ideas on how to run things.
Right.
It's not that complicated, guys.
And you know what? I'm really shocked. I'm not shocked But the people that are calling in about the Air Care Colorado agree that it shouldn't be there anymore. The other thing they do agree with and they'd be willing to do is an inspection on the car. It's a safety inspection.
Yep.
And that's huge to me. That shows the public is aware of what's going on around them. That shows me a little bit more. Oh, they're at the game. That's it.
My wife's texting me and they're at the game. So yeah, it looks really good. Very beautiful. She says, very beautiful day for a football game. I said, yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. We're sitting inside this room.
Yeah. So anyway, no, to your point, you're exactly right, Dennis.
I'm really glad to hear our listeners talk about this and saying that they're open to that inspection.
No, I
because
agree.
they agree. You know, could you see the cars next? I want to know that the car next to my wife or my grandson driving down the road is safe.
Thank you. I agree with that very much. All right, let's keep going. One line open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Ron in Denver, you're next. What's going on today?
Well, on the safety issues, I have a friend that plays softball with as a old Ford van. It's like the word van. Doesn't have a front bumper. And he's been driving that for like 10 years and never been pulled over. And I know in Japan, if you have a little dent on your fender, they'll cite you for that or tell you to get it fixed right away.
Yeah, and the bumper should be, I mean, that again, that's part of what should be in an inspection, Ron.
Yeah, and he's been driving it for, he says he's never been pulled over in like 10 years.
Wow.
And, you know, that's the police not doing their job, I think.
That's exactly right. No, you're correct.
But, you know, that's a safety issue for him more than me.
Well, it is, and you know, but it's just, again, it's just a safety item. It's a lot of what we've been talking about. And I like Dennis's comment a minute ago. It's really encouraging that all of you today have really, for the most part, everybody has called in and said, yeah, you know, I would even be in favor of one if it's ran correctly and it's done right and it's not a fleecing opportunity for some shop just to fleece the customer, sell a bunch of stuff that's not needed. But if it really, truly keeps vehicles safe, most everybody's been in favor of it.
Right. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate the phone call. All right, next up, Alan in Northglenn. Alan, Air Care, Colorado. What's going on?
Oh, I had a comment about the former emissions testing.
Sure.
I used to have a 96 Dodge Dakota, manual transmission 5-speed. Well, I told them it was a 5-speed when I went in there. But they put it on the tester, and they're revving it, and I could hear it through the glass. What do? They got it in fourth gear up at 50 mile an hour or so, just revving the crap out of the engine. Of course, it passes, but it's another example of people not knowing how to drive a stick shift.
Yep.
Plus, before that, I was watching, and you'd see them let the tires wander to the side of the drums, the roller drum, and just rub.
Oh, yeah.
Against the edges. So it takes all good faith out of the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's just, you know, you have, you know, again, are just reiterating what everybody else has been talking about all day long. We have not had one person yet that has given us a reason why Air Care Colorado should exist today.
We won't argue with you.
I would like to know if you're somebody that thinks it should exist. I would love to hear from you because so far, of all the people I meet on the streets, in my businesses, etc., I've yet to see anybody that likes the program.
And I won't argue with you. Just tell me your comments on it.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Yeah.
So, Alan, point taken. You're right in line with the rest of us, and I appreciate your comments.
And I do not think it should exist with the later advent of the more computer controlled.
Yeah, we just don't need it. It's unnecessary. Yep. Appreciate it, Alan. Thank you so much for calling. Let's go to Don and Parker. By the way, line open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Don, what's going on?
Yeah, this is Dan, actually.
Dan, okay.
I talked to you earlier this morning about driver tips. I owned a shop in Parker, Texaco Express was actually, it was the first fast food in Douglas County.
Got it.
And we did, minor repairs to ups and belts, hoses, stuff, brakes, whatnot, as well. And I was just shocked and amazed at how many vehicles would come in with very low air pressure and tires that were either shot, sidewalls were gone. People still driving them or actually steel belts showing through on the inside. And I would say out of all these cars coming in that we did express loop on the full services where we did a 14-point service, that probably 60% of them had low air pressure in their tires, water all. And so my thinking, and we'd always bring it to people's attention and tell them, well, you know, you might want to go down to Firestone or wherever you buy your tires and replace these because they may be suspect because it looks like they've been run low for a long time and worn uneven or worn badly on the inside, outside, whatever. And we'd always bring it to, you know, for our clients' well-being, welfare.
Right.
And I am all for safety inspections. I just think that shops, all the good private shops like yours could do that and save a lot of people's lives as well as horrific injuries. Bring it to, most of the time people don't even know.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Just bring the awareness to it. You're right about that.
Yeah. And years ago, when I was a youngster, my dad actually owned a standard station, and we did safety inspections. I remember that my older brothers actually worked there, had 4 brothers, and they all worked there on 32nd and Wadsworth. And we found that, I remember even as a child, cars and vehicles coming in, you know, lights not working, windshield that you couldn't hardly see out of because they were smashed on the driver's side, things of that nature. All that had to be rectified after we brought the attention to it, or they wouldn't get a safety sticker.
Yeah.
Of course, back then, I don't think you could still get plates. So I don't know how much.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think you could still get plates, but if you didn't have a current sticker, they'd pull you over. Is how they used to do that, I believe.
It was a separate thing.
That's right.
I believe that's correct.
Yep,
yeah.
I think that's right. So, yeah. Hey,
but
good
I'd like
stuff.
to see it mandatory where you'd have to get a safety inspection every 2 or 3 years or whatever.
I agree. I think you're right.
I got one other driving tip.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember what I thought.
No, go ahead.
I've owned multiple 4-wheel drive vehicles, and most of them are pickups. Almost all of them had a lot of sport use with my wife. And there's 2 things. What I see is people with an all-wheel drive vehicle, you know, they give you a false sense of security if you don't understand the dynamics of that vehicle, and especially if you're from out of state and haven't driven on slick and nasty roads like we did here in Colorado. People, first thing they do, what I see, is go out and either buy a 4-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle. And of course, you know the difference. And with an all-wheel drive vehicle, you know, they're going down a road, you know, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour on a very slick road when they should be doing 30.
Right.
And they just don't understand. And I just think, I don't know how, you know, if it's incumbent on dealers to educate people, or at least attempt to educate them on those kinds of things with an all-wheel drive. And then the second thing that just makes me crazy is guys that I have an F-150 and, of course, got the electric shift, and that are driving down a highway locked in 4-wheel drive at those kind of speeds, which is even more dangerous, obviously, than an all-wheel drive. And, you know, we could get into the mechanics and all that.
Right.
I know you guys know that, but that should be explained to people when they buy, or if they buy an all-wheel or 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah, it should be. You're right.
Somewhere down the line, I did my best when I owned my shop to talk to my clients and customers about those things, try to get them to understand how they work, you know, or why they work the way they do. But, you know, I think that would save a lot of lives. I guess driver education.
I agree. Hey, Dan, appreciate the phone call. Got to run to a break. Dennis, what do you want to add to that?
Well, real quick, we've done a couple of times, we've done car care clinics at the shop, and try to get people to come in to teach them about winter safety driving and how to drive your car, because you do not want to be going 40 miles an hour down the road on a night condition. I don't care if you have 4-wheel drive.
That's right.
Because you got to leave time for stopping.
That's exactly
different things like that. So we'd like to talk to people about that. So here, I'm going to throw this out. If you're in the park area and you're interested, give us a call, and I'll put together one of those classes.
Awesome.
And we'll do it on a Saturday.
Awesome.
And it won't take much of your time.
So anybody listening, whether this is Saturday or Sunday or a podcast, let Dennis know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Chris has the comment on Air Care Colorado. Joe, you hang on with us. One line open is all 303-477-5600, and we will be back right after these messages. Don't go away. John Rush, Rush to Reason. Oh, nope, got that one messed up. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
You packed your family of 8 in a 5-person car. Packed a week's worth of groceries into one bag. Air care. As the dishwasher's full, we just laugh. But are you up for the challenge when there's 20% off on the line? Pick up our exclusive 5-gallon Napa Camel bucket for just $2.99. Then get 20% off all the stuff you can fit in it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Or are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
After 30 years of business, Geno's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Geno's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Geno's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bolton Park Canyon, or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's genosautoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N. The filter that helps your car run better.
Oh, Sammy Hagar. Yes. Thank you very much, Matt. I can't drive 55, which used to be the speed limit back in the day, and 55 was very hard to drive. But I think some people have the motto, I can't drive 75, so you drive up and down I-25 going up towards Fort Collins, and man, it's like the stinking super highway up there. So, food for thought.
Well, they can't get 275 or
no, it's like 80, 85 up there.
Yeah.
Unless it's a slow day. One thing we wanted to make mention to, somebody called in, wanted to know if our Air Care Colorado program is something that was federally mandated. And no, it's not federally mandated. We used to exceed our EPA levels. That's a whole other conversation for another day. We used to exceed a certain standard. And so to do that, they implemented the emissions programs, et cetera. And I'd have to go look, but I don't think we exceeded that. I don't know if we even exceeded it at all last year.
Don't they call it a red
ozone days, whatever they are? I think we've done really, really well. And I think, again, that's a testament to not the Air Care Colorado program, but to just what new car technology has done. Chris, you're up next. What's going on?
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Doing great. Thanks for calling.
Excellent. Well, we can't get rid of the Air Care Colorado because 90% of the funds go to the children.
Yeah, for the children.
Yeah.
No, I mean somebody's got to make money somehow.
Yeah. Well, right now I can tell you that the company. I should have looked this up. I should have done this during the break. Let me see if I can take a quick second here, real quick, and find this. They got bought out. I want to say 2 years ago, somebody paid about $18 million for them, I believe, and they were bought by a big company. That run, again, it's a nationwide company that basically runs centers all across the country, and I've got to figure out. I'll look it up. By the time we get into our next break, I'll have this looked up and tell you who actually owns Air Care Colorado now, because it's a different company that bought them out.
That's okay, John. I enjoyed both your shows. I just being like kind of a...
No, you're fine, man. I appreciate you calling in. And you got me thinking I should figure out who actually owns them, because that has a lot to do with what goes on. So I'll look that up. You just made me think of doing that, and I will do that, Chris. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Take care. Thanks for listening during the week, too. I do appreciate that very much. All of you that have really converted from, or not converted, but have continued to listen to me during the week, listen to Drive Radio on the weekends, and Rush to Reason during the week. Listen, man, I appreciate that very, very, very much. I know the station does also, but I personally appreciate that greatly. And as you guys hear me talk during the week, we got to get the word out on some of this stuff if we're going to keep retaining the country that I've grown up and loved as a kid. If we don't get this thing back on track, we're going to be in a world of hurt.
I noticed since you have that show, you don't get on your soapbox as much on this.
I don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I got 5 days a week now.
So we can stick with the vehicles.
That's right. Exactly right. All right, Joe, you're up next. What's going on today?
Oh, I'm not. I was just listening. You know, I'm kind of more leaning for the Air Care needs to stick around for a little while longer. In Colorado, we have, you know, they usually target the big metropolitan areas, but there are a number of old vehicles that just aren't tuned right. There's even some newer ones that just don't run right. It's not nice to sit next to somebody that's just kind of making you all teary-eyed and choked up.
How many, and I'm just being devil's advocate here, how many of those do you actually see on a daily basis?
You know, while I'm sitting in rush hour traffic, we'll probably have dozen. I don't think it's needed as much as it used to be. But, you know, when the government and the state started increasing the miles per gallon to make our fuel supply go longer and all this other stuff, I think there's a lot of creative technology that's come out of all that to make things more efficient. But I'd almost agree with, you know, you got a newer vehicle, you pass those roadside places, give you a 3-year pass on it. Let's increase it for the
well, just so you know, the brand new car, you get an automatic 4-year exemption right off the bat. So you already have that when you buy a brand new car, and then it's every other year up to a certain age, and then after that you've got to do it every year. You know, and
2 years on a new car, so even that's going up higher.
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, as things are getting better, I think they're finding ways to, I don't know if they're ever going to phase it out because people just don't take care of their stuff. Or there's a lot, but I agree with safety and stuff. That's a good thing, and I can't disagree with that.
Well, I appreciate that. So, all right, well, appreciate that. Appreciate the phone call. So I did find out who owns so Air Care Colorado is now owned by EnviroTest Systems Holding Corporation, headquartered in Windsor, Connecticut. They operate centralized vehicle inspection programs in 5 states, 1 Canadian province, completing more than 7 million emissions inspections each year. EnviroTest is the largest and most experienced centralized emissions testing organization of state and provincial governments in North America. So there's your answer as to who actually owns Air Care Colorado. So it's not some, you know, little dinky conglomerate. It is a big it's a big conglomerate that bought them out not that long ago. So EnviroTest Systems is who owns them. And by the way, if you Googled them, which I will do right now, they also do safety inspections. That's kind of what got me going on this, you know, not that long ago, is they do more than just emissions testing. So with that, lines open, 303-477-5600. And Paul, you've been holding the longest. Paul, what's going on today?
Yeah, John, I'm the one that told you about turmoil.
Oh, perfect. Yes, thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, well, yesterday, 2 separate accidents. One car ended up in Cherry Creek, and the other one closed by 25.
I saw that. I saw both of those.
Last night, I heard that they were both caused by blowouts.
By tire blowouts, really?
Yeah, so you tell me, with their husbands or their wives or whatever, put 2 kids in the hospital.
Yeah, the one in the morning that blocked I-25 was a bad one. That had 5 people injured, a couple of them pretty seriously.
Yeah, I'm sure if they looked at the tires, that should be in the report, hopefully.
Yeah, we would hope so. Anyway.
An email on a battery rejuvenation. They
back 100 years. I don't know if you've ever looked into that.
I have not. I need to, but I have not at this point. I need to stop long enough to do that. That's definitely worth looking at. The one we're now carrying, through all our centers, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, I definitely will take a look at that. I got to stop long enough. Yeah, definitely would love to look at that.
Good enough. So that's why I'm all for ATV inspections. I mean, tires blowing out nowadays, you don't hear that. You just don't hear that.
No, you don't.
I don't think we hear about what caused the accidents. I see it.
Right.
Yeah, you do. You see it right off the bat. Yeah.
I see some of these cars come in here, and you look at, like during the winter, they'll come in and they've been in an accident, and you look at the tires, there's no tread on the tires. You're wondering, well, no kidding, you got an accident. And it could be a four-wheel drive that's lifted. And you're like, oh, man.
The tires are bald. You're going to get just...
Yeah, unfortunately, these were two women drivers. Way back when I was a kid, I had a couple of blocks because of lousy maintenance. And if you're not paying attention, because we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have all that crap bothering us, that wheel snaps fast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's another thing they should advertise,
Interesting.
Put them down and keep your hands on the wheel.
No, you're right. You're right, Paul.
All right,
hey, man, appreciate it. All right, and as I'm doing more digging, as we're talking to all these people, so EnviroTest still exists on its own, but it is also owned in conjunction. I've got to figure out who owns what, whether EnviroTest owns Opus Inspection or Opus Inspection owns EnviroTest. Either way, they're a conglomerate. And Opus Inspection is what does the safety inspections in multiple states across the country. So I believe Opus actually owns EnviroTest now, I believe, after reading that. That happened on February 28th, 2014. Opus Inspection Inc. completed its acquisition of EnviroTest Systems Holding Corporation, renamed to EnviroTest Corp., a leading vehicle inspection services and technology company in North America. The purchase price was approximately $90 million. I was off on my 18. I got my numbers off. It's $90 million is what they purchased EnviroTest for.
Oh.
So it's now owned by Opus Inspections. So they operate long-term vehicle inspection programs in the states of Colorado, Maryland, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, and British Columbia in Canada. And in Opus Inspections, they're headquartered in East Granby, Connecticut, and they do all sorts of stuff worldwide. They don't do stuff just here. So I'll keep looking into some of this and give you guys more information as I run across it. Let's go to Frank, who's up next. Frank, what's going on?
Yeah, I just sort of wondered how much money EnviroTest has funneled to the politicians over the years.
A lot.
To keep this monopoly.
Lobbying-wise, I would venture to guess, and we could probably go back and look at all of that, but just between you and I and the listeners out there, more than we'd probably ever imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, when they first started the emissions program, I mean, you could go to a service station and they could test it, or you could go, people would have the roadside vans, right, and they with the tailpipe testing, and those people were actually fairly decent, treated you fairly decent and everything. And then for some reason they decided they had to give them a monopoly, which I'm sure at that point, they got a bunch of money from EnviroTest. Of course, they know they have you, right? You got to get it done, so they don't have to treat you like anything.
Nope,
I mean,
they
it's
don't.
sort of ridiculous.
Customer service is not really high on their priority list. Let's just put it that way.
It used to be, and the state would fine them for different things. Isn't it that they would fine them or do something? They get in trouble. There was some kind of regulation going on there for a little bit when they first started out, but it kind of went away.
Yeah, I mean, the whole program should be, if the state really thinks it has that much of an interest in exactly what my car is doing, they should just send somebody out to my house to have to. They think they have that much, instead of making me go and spend a bunch of time and deal with them. One of the cars I have is a Prius, and I'm almost decided it's almost worth having a hybrid just for the sole reason that you never have to take it in backup test.
Yeah, well, there is something to be said about that. It does make that side of it a little bit easier, I guess I should say. But bottom line here is, the more we dig, and there's always this thing I have it on my show during the week. You follow the money. You follow the money and try to figure out what's really going on. And if we follow the money here far enough down the path, I think we'd find that there's some extreme lobbying groups that keep this program going. Because if it wasn't for that, we can already tell. Look out the window today. People with common sense can look up and do. And by the way, I've been doing this now for about the last I don't know, 6 months or so, just kind of fervently looking day after day to kind of see what the brown cloud looks like. And the reality is, we don't have enough of a brown cloud anymore to even worry about it. It's way less than it was when I was a kid, long before the emissions program even got started. Now that we've had it and it's working and cars are better, what I mean by that is now that other things are working, we do not need to have that emissions testing program anymore. We do away with it.
Right. I completely agree.
Well, appreciate you calling in, and we'll see who else wants to chime in over the next half hour that we got left of the show. Thanks for calling. We've got lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Less than 30 minutes left of Drive Radio. Call us with anything you've got. Questions, comments about Air Care Colorado, driving tips.
Driving tips. Yep.
We'd love to hear it from you. We'll be back. John Rush, Dennis Brewster here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Colorado West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence for the customer. We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. We use the proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Colorado West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at ourbadowestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
You use the motor oil Dad used, and he uses what Granddad used. Yet no one uses what Great Granddad used, because whale oil is illegal. But if oil's what you need, Napa has you covered. With Castrol GTX for only $3.79 a quart, or 5 quarts in a Napa silver filter for just $21.99. No harpoons needed. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General state pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Bar stores. Offers expires 11/16/14.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Or are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application, Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Following us, if it is Sunday, we have the wealth map following us, so don't tune off of KLZ. Keep listening. Jervis the Chico will be with us on the wealth map. And then if it's Saturday, so today, Sportsmen of Colorado comes up right after we're off. Scott Watley and the crew will come in and we'll make a quick change out in the studio, and he'll come in and tell you all about his hunting trip that he was just on, which he told me he was hiking with a gun because it was so warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it is warm.
We'll see what he has to say. Hey, Scott, if you want to tell me what you're going to talk about, shoot me an email or a text or something, and I'll mention it. So if you want to tell me what you're talking about today, I'll promo that for you. But yeah, Scott Watley and the crew will be up right after we're off.
And just to let you know, tell him what you just found. He was looking on. John was on the web, and he's looking around, and he finds out that EnviroTest or
the inspection already has an automated inspection process where they literally take the car down the lane. It's not totally automated. There's inspectors at 3 stations, but basically the computer tells each person what to look at, what the results were from some of the checks that the computer actually does on the vehicle, and then by the time it gets out to the other end, the computer determines whether or not it passed the inspection or not. So it checks everything from headlights to front end shake to tire wear to you name it. There's some visual things that technician also has to do, of course, when it comes to brakes, etc. But they've got the system automated. I'm trying to figure out when EnviroTech tests contract in Colorado runs out, because that will tell you when the inspection process will be enabled. That's my thought process.
Yeah. But that tells you that it takes a lot of the personal thing out of it. It's more automated.
It's more automated, which takes some of the potential for fraud out of it. So Don is up next. Don, welcome.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for calling.
I got a question and a comment about the air care thing.
Sure.
When I was a kid back in the 60s, my dad had a shop and he did inspection stickers, and boy, you never saw cars like you do now. They were, they had the total mark, you saw no burns, they got pulled over, and they had to fix them, and it was over 6 months, they had to another sticker going. And now, you go in there now, I'm afraid to look at my car because I don't trust them. And a friend of mine used to work in there and passed away a few years ago. He said that there was a pass-fail thing, that the driver couldn't drive it, they went ahead and passed it. You know anything about that?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, both Dennis and I are looking at each other starry-eyed, like, no, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was just quite a few years ago. It was back in probably the mid-90s, I think, when he worked there. We saw oil burners come through there, and they passed them, and they said they couldn't, driver couldn't drive it, so they went ahead and passed it for some reason. I don't know if that's true or not. I said I'd mention that, and my question is, I have a 2001 upstairs, and I had it in Red West. Recently, they said I had a small oil leak in an oil can.
Okay.
And to pull that out, you have to take the differential apart, which is a pretty big job. Is there anything in the differential that needs to be replaced or come apart or whatever they have to do with that?
What kind of miles do you have on it, Don?
111,000.
And vehicle again? I forgot.
It's 2001 Nissan Xterra.
No.
No.
No, there's nothing in there you need to worry about.
Okay, so just kind of lower, move it out of the way, and
Yep.
what you have to do.
Yep. I wouldn't do anything else.
All right, yeah, just not making it right now. Some of the way to watch, he says it's kind of costly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And they're right. Yep, she's right.
So, I thought I'd ask anyway about that. So.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Appreciate it. Thanks for calling, Don. Appreciate that very much. One line open, 303-477-5600. Mike, what's going on, Mike?
Morning. Just following up on a call I made last week on trailer brakes.
Yes.
And gave me some pretty good information, so I thought I'd let you know how it came out.
Awesome. Thank you.
I did have that owner's manual when I bought that controller, but apparently it got misplaced somewhere, so I did go online and pull it down. That was lots of help.
Perfect.
But anyway, long story short, I ran into a problem I thought I had with the controller because the green light wasn't coming on when I plugged in the pigtail, and apparently we must have got home just in time when I was on vacation, because I know I had brakes when I got home, but once I got to checking it out, I found out the brake wire had come off of the pigtail connection going into the trailer. But once I got those adjusted, yeah, that thing will shut you down in no time at all.
Awesome. Yeah. Good to hear.
Yeah, I did have a question about the truck brakes again, though, because I have noticed even without the trailer, if I'm pulling a heavy load, you still got to lean on them brakes very, very hard. I don't know if I have probably overloaded it a few times. I'm not too far from Landscape Supply Place, so I've had up to 1,900 pounds on the back of that half-ton pickup. So that's probably too heavy.
That's probably a little too heavy in that case. I mean, if you were to do that regularly, I would recommend doing a brake upgrade, which you can do through, Bear, Brembo, etc. There's several companies that actually make an upgraded brake package for that, where you do a bigger rotor, bigger caliper. If you're going to do that just every now and then and you can watch it, probably not a big deal. But if you get to where you think you need more brakes, that can be handled.
Yeah, I don't do it that often. We're pretty much done with our yard work around here, and I'm only about 3 miles from Landscape Supply anyway. So
perfect.
I don't plan on doing too much more of that. But I was wondering if they do have a check for checking out the master cylinder and the vacuum booster, because I've had a couple other pickups that had the tow package, and I mean, those things would really stop nice. This one never has felt like it had the same braking power that my other trucks have had.
Well, and I can't remember what year yours is. 2000.
It's an 04 PMC half-ton.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even in 04, even though they were starting to get better by that point in time, that they were still under braked.
Yeah,
it's probably the best way for me to say it. If you, for example, if you went and drove an 04 to a 2012, and then even jump in a new 2014, there's no comparison.
Yeah. Okay.
So that part of that is just the year you're driving.
Is brake flush, does that help anything other than get
Just puts new fluid in.
It's good to do, but it's not going to help your
Not going to help your pedal pressure or anything like that.
Yeah.
The problem is on that truck in the back, they only had a single piston in there, and they should have had a dual piston.
Yep.
Okay.
Just not enough braking.
Yeah,
in the end, in the front, the rotors are undersized. She just didn't put enough brakes under them.
I do notice that, and I noticed this on I had a 01 Tahoe with the Z71 package. I do notice that the anti-locks come on, it seems like prematurely when you're on anything loose like gravel or snow. And it almost feels like you're not stopping at all when those do activate. Is that something in the valving that they have on those where they come on a little prematurely? Have you heard of that problem on the Chevy GMCs before?
I haven't. I don't know if John does. No,
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do know that brake system on that is bigger than on that truck you have.
The Tahoe?
I believe so. I think the Tahoe is bigger.
What year is your Tahoe?
The Tahoe I had was, I think it was an 02.
I'm pretty sure the Tahoe's had a better braking system.
Yeah, and they may be very close to the same. Keep in mind the Tahoe, if it's just a two-door Tahoe, of course, it weighs less than what your pickup does.
Yeah, mine was a 4-door with the tow package.
They weigh about the same then, so those two should feel roughly the same.
Yeah. I got a comment on this emissions test stuff.
Sure, go ahead.
I just live probably half a mile from the testing station up here in Fort Collins. Basically, I think it's all about the money, just like you said, and also putting people to work. I don't know if you guys have ever driven the toll roads back in Chicago, but they have a toll booth about every, 5-10 miles, it seems like, and you got to stop and throw your excess change in there. And most of them have somebody manning those toll booths, except if you're there on the weekend, which I was here recently. If you don't have any change, I thought they would send me a bill like our E470 does, but I wasn't paying too much attention. They sent me a bill, okay. It's a $20 fine to run those without throwing any money in them.
Interesting. I've never done it. I've always made sure I had change and been lucky enough to have that, so I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, so if you're there on the weekend, I'll give you a little advice. You better stop and get pocket full of change.
That's right. Get a roll of quarters.
Yeah, because those slam dunk are pretty good back there.
That's good. Hey, man, appreciate you calling, Mike. Take care. Appreciate the phone call and the update. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, finish out the show. Phil and Centennial has a driving tip. Kevin and Milliken, you guys hang with us. We'll be back right after this. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. And this month, we're making it easy for you to show your support too. Make any $25 purchase and receive a free Napa Camel racing cap. For every cat we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty.
Oh, for you?
In Colorado.
I bet. Oh, the air care? Oh, yeah.
Set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
All right, we are back. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Let's go right to the phones. Kevin, you're up next. What's going on today?
John, this is Kevin.
Yes, how you doing?
And, well, I'm pretty good. I just wanted to give you a little extra information about EnviroTest. You mentioned brown clouds have gone away. Well, they don't test for the brown cloud.
No, they don't.
The only thing they care about is ozone. And as a matter of fact, the federal government has been threatening for the last several years to tighten the standard down to the extent that it almost meets background levels for ozone.
Oh, geez.
Which could effectively throw the rest of the state and the rest of the nation into the testing system. You're right, it's all politics, and it has very little to do with real clean air.
Yeah, it's just it's not right. And Kevin, I appreciate you calling in and filling me in on that. Do you know by chance what the contract stand? You know, where we stand as far as a contract with Opus or EnviroTest at this point?
I don't know that, and that's an excellent point that I'm going to keep an eye out for down the road. You can bet that they will lay the groundwork years in advance so that they can supposedly keep it going, because of course they got millions of dollars. You noted 90 million tied up into the equipment they've got, but it's not necessary.
No, it's not.
And I've looked into the science on this. I tried to get the diesel emission standards taken away for Larimer and Wells County a few years ago, and just hit a political wall. And there, 99% of the vehicles passed, and it has nothing to do with anything other than carbon particulates coming out of the tailpipe. But you know, you try to suggest that they're going to take that away, and they'll be begging you to, it's for the children, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's to keep some businesses in business.
That's right.
And that's crony capitalism that we just don't need in this country.
You're right about that. And this is, by the way, as you can tell from today's show, this has been a hot topic. I'd love to get you on either during the week or a weekend show, both once we get through the election and we let things settle down a little bit. I'd love to get you back on. This is a hot topic, as you can tell from everybody listening. I think our poll today is we've had one that's sort of for it, no one else for it. I mean, it's been like, 20-1 as far as people against, Air Care Colorado.
But everybody's in favor of an inspection of their vehicle.
Yeah, people actually want a safety inspection.
Yeah.
Well, and they can go get that anytime they want.
They can.
They can.
There's nothing stopping them. And just a little footnote: when the mandatory safety inspections went away, there was no evidence that there was any safety compromise through that. And I think programs like yours are just great to keep people focused on what the good vehicle maintenance and practices are, and to me, that's the best way to do it.
Well, I sure appreciate you calling in, and I'll have you back on our show during the week. I appreciate you being on this past week, and best of luck to you. And we'll continue to converse, and we'll see what happens here in about a week.
Okay, well, hope that helps.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it very much. So those of you that were listening earlier, I told you we have certain individuals in the state that are involved politically. You just heard from one. I didn't give his name out because he didn't either, but if you want to know who he is, you can email me and I will tell you. But let me just tell you this. We have elected officials, one just called in, that are listening to this program, so your feedback is being heard. So there you have it. So I proved my point earlier. So Kevin, thanks so much for calling. I appreciate that.
He makes a good point. We wouldn't, if people were
more diligent.
Yeah, and take care of their car, we wouldn't have to have these inspections.
Yeah, they just go do it on their own.
Inspection. They could do it on their own, but you know what happens is people don't. And that's why you have to do it, because people aren't diligent in what they're supposed to be doing. They kind of make the shortcut. I'm going to save money by not putting new tires on my car when I need them.
I'd like to see what the statistics are. And Kevin, if you're still listening, this would be a good worksheet for you and I to go through. Is if everybody out there didn't have to spend their money on Air Care Colorado, how much more money would we pump into Colorado's economy that now looks to me like are going to a company that is not even based in the U.S. Opus Industries, from what I can see, is not even an American company. That's I can't tell from the phone number where they're actually located, but that's not even an American company that our money to run this program is going towards. So just a side note, I'll keep investigating it. As you can tell, this is a big deal. This is even a bipartisan thing, because it doesn't matter whether you're Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, doesn't matter. Nobody likes going down to get this emissions test. So to Kevin's point, I'd love to see this thing go away. Let's keep going. We got 2 more callers. Phil, you're up next. Phil, what's going on?
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
First of all, for my driving tip, John, did you ever imagine yourself, your career taking the path that it has the last, say, 2 years ago?
No.
I listen to you on the radio, and I always think, God, that's the guy on the car show.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. No.
I appreciate your conservative voice.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Got to share a mission story. I had a great experience there once. It was when the enhanced program went into effect. I took my old truck there. It took about an hour and a half to get through. It gets tested, and they come back with my check in hand and say, I can't test it. It has an exhaust leak. I said, no, it doesn't. And the kid, maybe all 22, comes up and goes, what are they saying? He goes, they're saying it can't test it. It has an exhaust leak. He goes over, plugs his hand over the exhaust. Here's the back pressure builds up. Goes, there's no exhaust leak. And that tests it, passes it. I walk out with my check in hand and an emissions test in hand.
Good for you.
But anyway, the driving step, that neutral trick on, when you're coming up to a stop. My dad taught me that back in the 80s. I still use it today.
Wow. I've never have. I've been around a long time. I'm going to have to try that out now that everybody's talked about it. So.
And then another one, if you got an older car, I drive an old Ford Taurus. It has a second gear start in it.
Yes.
And at the stoplight,
yeah,
give it a second to start it.
Great idea. That's right. Great idea.
Don't seem to have that.
No, a lot of them don't. Now, some do. Some of the newer cars, even some trucks have that. But check your owner's manual to see if you have the ability to start in second. Because Kevin or Phil, that's a great tip on, especially on a really, really slick day. Starting in second from a stop would really help.
Yep, it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys.
Thanks a lot, Phil. Appreciate it. Thanks also for your kind words and for supporting us during the week. I do appreciate that very much. We've only got a couple of minutes left here. Might be able to get one more call in, 303-477-5600. Call us if you'd like to chime in. Otherwise, Dennis and I will just finish things up. What did I miss, Dennis? Anything?
I don't know. We never did get a battery. Yeah.
Well, we never did.
That's okay.
We started off on one end and
this was interesting.
Go to the other.
I was really pleased and I don't know how to say it, but I'm really glad to hear that people do want an inspection as far as a safety inspection, because that's really key. I really wish people would just do it on their own, because it's a very simple thing to take it into a shop. Any one of the auto cares that provide this radio show, any one of the caller selects and just have us check your car out. It doesn't mean that we have to do the work. You can go home and do it yourself if you want, bring it back, and we can throw it on the alignment rack, make sure it's done right, or anything else. I mean, replacing bulbs are so easy. Some of them are easy, I should say. Some of them are very difficult. To walk around your car and make sure that all your lights are working, very simple. Check your tires, check your wiper blades, check your windshield, check your mirrors. Those are easy things.
And to Kevin's point, he's right. If we took some personal responsibility, and that's the key to that, and I'm a big personal responsibility guy. You hear me talk about that all week long on Rush to Reason. If people would just take that responsibility on themselves, Dennis.
Right.
Take that walk around, look at that vehicle from time to time. Windshield's bad, wipers are bad, my tires are bald, I've got a busted out tail light. Okay, those are things that, folks, here's where I'm going to come from on this, and I'm big on this. Driving is a privilege.
Right.
Sorry, there is no constitutional right, and I've had some people argue with me on that, but there's nothing constitutional that says you've got the right to drive. No, it's a privilege, and I look at it that way. I always have. I guess that's the way I was raised and the way I was taught. I realized right off the bat that if I didn't drive correctly, my dad was going to yank my license. I knew right away it was a privilege to drive. At least in my house, it was.
Yeah, mine too.
Not a right. So if you didn't drive right, you weren't going to have the right to drive any longer. You were going to have the privilege to drive. So, my feeling is, guys, make sure your vehicle meets the needs of what it's going to encounter, whether that's driving in a hot sun, whether that's driving on a day like today, whether that's driving when there's a blizzard out, whatever the circumstances, make sure you're prepared, your vehicle's prepared, because you could affect the safety of those that are around you, and you do affect the safety of those that are around you, correct?
Right. And Steve, and my wife asked me one time, she goes, every time we go to Lake Powell, I'm always repacking my wheel bearings. I do it every year. And she goes, why do you do that every year when it's only like a 1,000-mile drive? I said, because I don't want a problem.
That's right.
And I keep it from happening.
That's right.
And that's your job. We wouldn't have to have all these other programs in place
if everybody, but they were supposed to.
Exactly.
That's right. All right.
And we don't want Big Brother watching us. We don't want him taking care of us.
So then have
do your own
responsibility. Yes, exactly. All right, with that, we're going to get out of here. Scott Watley is coming up next, Sportsman of Colorado. If it's Sunday afternoon, the Wealth Map with Jervis DeChico, he'll be coming up next, so don't go away. Keep it tuned to KLZ all day long, all week long. Revive 1787 going on tomorrow. I would encourage you, go online, check it out, join us. There'll be a bunch of us down there. KLZ will have a booth, and it'll be a lot of fun. That's at the Douglas County Fairgrounds tomorrow. It starts at about 12:30. The main event is at 5:30 that night. It'll be a lot of fun. Come out and see us and enjoy. And with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Again, continue to listen to us. Listen to Rush to Reason during the week. And by all means, if you've got any questions during the week, send me an email. John@drive-radio.com. Check out all of our sponsors on our webpage, Drive-Radio, and also visit ColoradoSelect.com. Find a location near you that can help you with all of the things that we talked about today, from vehicle inspections to full-bore repairs. They're the place to get your vehicle fixed, Colorado Select. With that, we're out of here. We'll be back Monday. I will be anyways. 2 o'clock, Rush to Reason. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, along with Dennis Brewster, KLZ 560.